Well, I took a sick day. I was feeling a lot better until I opened up the Twitter app and found out the inevitable Klint Kubiak to the Raiders. But the Cardinals, they still took the meeting and are left with the final head coaching vacancy in the NFL, Johnny Venerable.
Who could have seen this coming? Certainly not this little fanboy podcast. We're breaking it all down. Get ready to lay in on yet another Cardinal L. PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. Help. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He is Bo Brock. He has rallied. He is back on a football Sunday where the Arizona Cardinals do the very much thinkable, not the unthinkable, but the thinkable, as they are rejected publicly and privately for Klint Kubiak in favor of the Raiders, Bo.
Yeah, one of many offseason L's for the Arizona Cardinals that just hadn't endured a 2025 season where it was just riddled with L's. That's right, 14 of them. I think the Cardinals now officially like 3-20 if you just continue the count. What's going on, Eric Christensen? How about Sam went digital, just wearing out? Of course, their supporter emojis. Jack, how about the Boise Snacks? Love to see Mr. Fat Gangster in the chat. Agent, how about I'm Hen? Bees, Jacob Tackett. Deb, hi Deb. Ozzy, Bees, also I mentioned that. Dante Benjamin, Michael, the entire squad. Matthew Martell, hey, how's it going? I don't like that profile pic. Just going to throw that out there. Not an option. We've got our 3 finalists, but who's it going to be at the end of the day? But emergency podcast. But is it really an emergency podcast when we all saw the writing on the wall as far as this interview goes?
We missed you Friday, Bo. Good to have you back. Espo crushed it, filling in. And again, I think you put it well there in the opening. Is this a surprise to, the 600 people we have watching live already? I don't think so. It's more like, how could you not see this coming? And like you and I were even talking off air, and like I'm sure we're going to get into it. This was so predictable, yet like, did they have an unspoken agreement that you were helping an agent, or you did this for optics for the NFL? I hope so, because I want the impact to not, impact Mike LaFleur's candidacy for the job.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that. Like, what does Mike LaFleur think today? This franchise, I thought, was at a low point when the season ended. And then, regardless of how you felt about, Jonathan Gannon, like, they made a point to come out and say, like, losing's not acceptable. We're going to make a change. And people were like, okay, I'm optimistic to see what you're doing. This has been the worst coaching search of my adult life. Certainly covering this team, but just following this team from a distance up close. I can't remember a more botched or bungled situation, not understanding the optics of where you sit on the NFL hierarchy. And, I put it in a reel I created earlier this week, and it was just like, I just think that the Cardinals thought that getting a voluntary interview with Kubiak, being a finalist, staying in the news cycle, was going to fire up their fan base. 90% of people, that were using common sense could see this is a waste of time. What are you doing? We're not buying what you're selling. And they were proven right here on Sunday morning.
Well, as reality sank in, and it should have early on, when top candidates wouldn't even take a legitimate interview with you, and then Robert Saleh said thanks, but no thanks.
Right.
Even though he was on the docket for a scheduled in-person interview, but it appeared to be just a full leverage play. I think once that happened, you needed to make a hire sooner rather than later.
Agreed.
Now that you've let this linger on and continue to open yourself up for more criticism, it's just gotten worse and worse. Like, you could have just packed things up, taken a few losses, and then made a hire that I think a lot of the fan base had talked themselves into. It's not the perfect hire. It's not one without red flags. It's not one that inspires a ton of hope that, hey, 2026, the Cardinals, they could be on, they can change the trajectory of this franchise, but it could have been spun as, hey, we've got somebody that we believe in, and you could have you're making the hire maybe a little bit early instead of, him getting out of your grasp, because that's what it could potentially come to be as we've seen this coaching search. So it's just been another offseason and coaching search that has really kind of hammered down the perception in this organization and where it stands in the 2026 of our football lords.
Yeah. You've failed to read the room again.
Yeah.
And now, like, regardless, we're going to get into Mike LaFleur and whether or not he's still going to take this job. But like, you've left your fan base again vulnerable. You've left your fan base in the crosshairs of more ridicule. Like, how many more L's can this fan base have to consume directly correlated to this franchise? Like, if I'm the Cardinals, like, shame on you for not understanding the optics of that.
Yeah.
Like, let me just go in on the team for a second here.
Sure.
You've got opposing players in the NFC West openly mocking you. The national media, Pat McAfee, uses you as a punchline every week. You have optics and say, you know what? We understand we're not going to be able to sit at the big kids table. This coaching search, we've got Mike LaFleur, thanks to the football gods, has agreed to come to our facility for 2 days. We're going to get this done. We're going to pay what it takes. Either he said no to you or you went cheap on the deal and you've had to wait 5 days. But to draw this out for your fan base inevitably to have to take another L with you, it's unacceptable. It's avoidable. Like, there were losses at the end of the season that we knew were coming. The Rams twice, the Seahawks loss, Cincinnati. It's like the fan base understood that. But there was light at the end of the tunnel of, I need you to just get to the offseason and make changes. Now it's like you've continued the regular season. I know we've made that comparison. Others have. We're like, hey, we're not getting a second to breathe here. Coaches are being taken off your staff, fair or not. You're going to be behind the 8 ball again. This is the second straight coaching cycle that you've had an opening, 2023, and now where you're going to hire the last candidate standing. Gannon, it was different because you were waiting for him. So people gave you grace. They understood that. The minute that you got Mike LaFleur in your building, do the deal. It's over. And then you're ahead of the Browns. Oh, no.
Breaking news. No, this is good news. Adam Schefter, ESPN sources, the Arizona Cardinals are targeting Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur as their next head coach. The two sides still are working to finalize a 5-year deal.
Do it. Pay him whatever he wants. It's not a 6-year deal. That's good news. As I rip the team in the opener here.
Look, it just came out 30 seconds ago. Maybe breathe, a sigh of relief.
The Arizona Cardinals, here it is. It's done. Arizona Cardinals plan to hire Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur, according to Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport. It's over. They did it. Finally. Noah, man, let's change the stream. The Cardinals were quick to decide, like,
anything is possible.
That's right. Thank God that he took the job. The optics of this will always leave scars. Thank God that he took the job.
They needed to move fast, Johnny.
Oh, my God.
They needed to move Lightning McQueen fast. They needed to get to this finish line after getting taking another L.
Yes. We're going to need...
Here it is, multiple reports. Schefter's on it. Pelissaro's on it. Rappaport's on it.
Here.
I wonder if there was any kind of like NFL like pushback, like, hey, you guys, once again, last team standing. We got our banner, tent pole event. We got the Super Bowl week coming up. We can't just have, this lingering opening taking any kind of news away from our big event.
Well, yeah, that was one of the biggest things. We said you can't wait and just announce this. Although they're going to do a presser next week. We won't be around. Maybe that's on purpose, but I don't know. All that matters is they got him. It's done.
Well, I mean, this is true now because you took this interview that started at 8:00 Arizona time, 7 p.m. Pacific. After you kind of sat there and held the Raiders things as they had the real interview previous to that. It looks like it's a consolation prize. As much as I like the move, they got it, after everything, right? And it looks like, hey, this was just a brutal search. They did get the guy, the candidate that the fan base wanted. No Vance Joseph, no Ron Rivera, no Raheem Morris trying to spend that his third tenure as a head coach. No Anthony Weaver. Cardinals go within the division like our guy Schaff had been pounding the table for, like Johnny had been pounding the table for. They go with the offensive-minded young head coaching candidate, Mike LaFleur, brother of Matt LaFleur, ties to Shanahan. He's been under McVay the last 3 seasons. Obviously there was the failed stint with New York as their offensive coordinator of the Jets, but he's somebody that looked very, you could see the promise in. So the Cardinals locked that in, and they've got their new head coach after nearly, what was it? Is it almost 4 weeks?
27 days.
Yeah.
27 days. We've been doing this. They are lucky he said yes. We'll never know the full story. The Cardinals are going to have a presser. They're going to come out and say all the right things, that he was their guy and they wanted to do their due diligence. But at the end of the day, did they really think they had a shot at Klint Kubiak? Was this an optics thing for agents behind the scenes? Here's what you can do now, Cardinals. This is a step in the right direction. Now go hire Anthony Weaver or Raheem Morris as your defensive coordinator. You 5-year deal. You're in a position now. Now the healing has to begin for this fan base. Man, you guys have to forgive me here. I came into this podcast with a very specific mindset here, and we're pivoting on the fly. And thank God that we are. I've been waiting for these tweets for 2 weeks. But now you have to be in a position where full throttle, Weaver, Morris, somebody competent to come in here and run this defense. We'll see how this impacts Nick Rallis, but this is the candidate. This is the candidate that was going to unify the fan base. Roughly, I would say 75 to 80%. This is what the fan base wanted. And that's not everything. But when the optics are as bad as they got, and as Mr. Cardinal says, the cuts are deep and the healing is going to take time. We need to put Monti Ossenfort and Michael Bidwill aside. We don't they can't be. Ossenfort will be around free agency in the draft, but the exposure on them needs to die down, because I'm going to tell you right now, we're 3 weeks away from going to the combine, and for the Arizona Cardinals, they're going to probably finish close to last, if not last, in the NFLPA grades again. There are going to be things that come out. They had to have a win here. This is a win. So as much, we're keeping it real here. I'm not going to have a mindset that I'm just going to rip the team from hell or high water. Should you have done this on Tuesday or Wednesday? Oh, yeah, you should have. But at least that you got this done now so the healing can begin and you can begin your staff. And my hope is that they already have a good idea of who's going to be on this staff, so they're not playing catch up.
Right. Yeah, because you're seeing just the arms race as far as hiring top coordinators, and it's you're seeing it in some departments. It's getting a little bottom of the barrel. But if you can land a DC that people are familiar with, that would add a veteran presence on a young head coach's staff, that would be looked at as a dub during a search that you endured a ton of L's. For the Arizona Cardinals. But now it's time to, just wipe your brow off of all the sweat. And, it's going to be tough to kind of get all the obviously the disappointment removed. But at the same time, this was a little bit of a win for the Arizona Cardinals. Finally, you can stop the bleeding and you can move forward.
And number one offense, 3 for 3 with candidates before him that have gone on to be successful head coaches. Mike LaFleur's got a lot of work ahead of him. Mike LaFleur, and I thought Espo put this well last week, he can't do this on his own. They have to be better. I still think, Bo, they need a team president after this coaching search.
Yeah.
I think the optics of this coaching search I definitely think it will give them pause. Like if I'm Mike LaFleur, it's like, I'm going to see majority of these 5 years. You think Michael Bidwill wants to go through this again?
No, I mean, they want to avoid that at all costs, right? They don't want to put themselves through these things again. And now, like, you can start to do the things, like you can post on social media again as an organization.
Yes.
Congratulations. Like without getting ratioed into the sun.
Right.
People saying make a hire anybody, making you the butt of the jokes. Like now you can celebrate Larry Fitzgerald, who, hopefully a week from yesterday is going to be named to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Right.
And voters are going to get that one right. Right. And you can celebrate that without the threat of people crushing you on social media. Like now you can start to do the things that all the other 32 teams get to enjoy. So it seems like an obvious box to check. And I agree with Johnny. I think Tuesday was probably, all the writing was on the wall as far as who was going to be the leader in the clubhouse for Klint Kubiak. And to me, like the Kubiak thing, just to go back on that, I was going to say this before the news broke, like this felt like a mid-major getting like $400,000 to go just get beat by Alabama. Mm-hmm. Why did you schedule this game? What would, like, in your right mind schedule this game, go up there and just get your brains beaten in and take leave with an obvious L? It's just like, okay, well, at least there was $400,000 that you could put towards your program or your university. Like that's what that felt like, because it felt like, as far as coming out of there with a win, that was like the furthest thing from reality.
Right. Yeah. You were always in a position where, like, the Raiders would have had to completely bungle that situation. And then finally you think about, like, Schefter coming out and saying he's going to take one of these two jobs, told me right away that he's going to be the Raiders coach.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are like, oh, Cardinals still have a shot. It was always going to be Raiders or going back to Seattle. Klint saw the optics of this team in the division. He knew what they had to overcome. I don't think he wanted to play in this division against the people he respects. I think you get a truly clean slate by going to the Raiders with Mendoza. Whereas Mike LaFleur is going to be in a position where he's playing with house money now. Mm-hmm. He does not have the pressure, right? He's the last hire of the hiring cycle. He can come in here and be the ultimate underdog. And I think for Mike, it's a really good starting point. Like, focusing on LaFleur for a second, you get him with no quarterback, so he gets to pick his quarterback. Hopefully he has, hiring power for his entire staff. Hopefully we see him start to gut the Rams and the Niners staff, bring competent people over. And then you say, all right, Mike, this is like, we expect to be more competitive next year, but you really get to build this your way. And by the way, we've got Marv, Trey McBride, Michael Wilson. You've got a franchise left tackle. Like, you can start looking at the pieces, because most people agreed. National people agreed. Cardinals had a better roster than the Raiders. Mm-hmm. But the Raiders, they check more boxes for somebody like Kubiak.
More valuable assets.
Right.
When you're in the coaching search, when you look at it, I don't think that you can say that it really is kind of like a crap sandwich for another crap sandwich as far as like ownership right now. I mean, I know you can throw in the Brady thing and that adds some allure, but like, as far as like stability, the Raiders are like one of the least stable organizations in the league. I mean, they just, it's a turnstile as far as head coaches. So, if Klint Kubiak doesn't find immediate success or show immediate progress, I mean, he could be back in the coordinator realm very quickly. But what was alluring was, I'm sure, not staying in this division, having the asset, the number one overall pick, to get the quarterback position figured out. And then, like, it's not just a dead-end roster where you have to start from scratch. You've got Brock Bowers, you've got a high pick in Genty that you hope you can maybe get him going in year 2.
Got some breaking news here, Bo. Not to interrupt. Raheem Morris is going to San Francisco, so he very much was waiting on the Cardinals job. So that hurts. And so it was clear. They made Raheem sound like he was going to be in it till the end.
Well, he got a win, and that lasted for how long? What was that, 5 minutes?
I think we had 10 minutes of a win. I'm not going to focus on that. What did we say, though, last week, at the end of last week? do not be surprised if Nick Rallis is back with this team. Right?
Right.
So Raheem Morris goes to the 49ers.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Anthony Weaver's status is, but I would imagine Anthony Weaver, who was kind of second fiddle to a lot of these coaching hires, he's probably going to be a top coordinator after Raheem Morris was off the board.
Weaver would be great.
Yeah.
Jim Schwartz, I think, that's a long shot, but you'd be interested in that. The news came out this morning that we had heard about, by the way, that Vic Fangio is maybe retiring. So you've got a team in not Seattle, Philadelphia, that's very competitive. The hope is, can Mike LaFleur bring on maybe a defensive assistant to come in here and help with the defense? But again, you just got to ask yourself, who is more qualified than Nick Rallis? People are going to hate me for saying this, to come here with this team right now. The optics of this team right now are low, right? You get LaFleur, that's great. But who could they get that's better than Rallis? Somebody who's called the defense the last 3 years. And people are going to say, I'm shilling for Rallis. I'm not. I'm just coming at it from a neutral standpoint. Did you see who Mike McCarthy hired for the Steelers? Patrick Graham, who has been off. They've been awful for the Raiders. They were terrible this year, and he got a job. So
right.
I think don't be surprised if it's Nick Rallis, and I would be willing to give Nick Rallis the benefit of the doubt. My only concern would be, we need these draft picks to work out defensively. We need Darius and these guys. Do they just need a new voice? Is it just enough to not have Gannon anymore? I would imagine Nick's going to run the same defense.
Right.
And he's the same coach. So maybe it is Anthony Weaver. Maybe it is somebody else. But Nick Rallis he's at the facility still.
It's not a Rallis thing that I'm piling on here. It's just a making the same mistake over and over again as far as having such inexperience on the coaching staff.
Right.
If you're going to go with LaFleur, who's 38 years old and hasn't called his own game the last 3 years, and previous to that didn't have a whole lot of success with the Jets, and you're going to give him, you're going to have somebody kind of handle the defensive side of the football. As much as I liked Rallis and I thought he was a rising star, and really it was unfortunate how much the defense fell apart down the stretch and was ultimately the demise of the previous coaching staff. There needs to be a couple veteran voices on this coaching staff. To have two youthful guys in their 30s as your main play callers, and we'll see what LaFleur does as far as, is he going to handle offensive play calling duties, or if he hires somebody else. And then, Rallis, who's still in his young 30s, I think that's going to be a tough sell to the fan base. So we'll see what they do. I still think that the door's open for them to go find somebody on the veteran defensive play calling market, and we'll see if he answers it by keeping Rallis and then adding an experienced maybe OC. Maybe he's not a play caller, but he's somebody that's going to be an adult in that room. I think that would also help too.
You've made the great point every time we talk about this subject, where every offseason there are defensive coaches available of prominent status.
Yeah.
And that's just not the case with offensive play callers, right? We agree on that. Mike McDaniel was coveted by all the elite openings. Vance Joseph to be their DC once upon a time. There are going to be avenues for this team to come in and whether this offseason or next offseason, get a high-end defensive coordinator. So, but immediate reaction is I think Justin Fry is safe on this team. I wouldn't be surprised if Israel Wolford got another shot to be the quarterback's coach. We'll see how, these dominoes, these guys that are still in the building, we're going to see quickly, does LaFleur want to keep these guys? Jeff Rodgers, news broke on Friday. He's gone. He's out. He goes to Buffalo. And I think
that was expected, though. That was expected to be somebody off.
And I think he'll have success there, by the way. But we had reported Jonathan Gannon was likely to make a change off of not only Drew, but Jeff Rodgers.
Yeah.
The guys who are still with the team, largely, were the people that Gannon was going to try to keep. He was going to keep Justin Fry. He was going to keep Nick Rallis. So, I don't know. I'm with you though. Like if they keep Nick Rallis, I don't think that they can go into the season without an experienced high-end like defensive assistant. But who's going to take that job? I mean, people are saying, would Ron Rivera come in and be your defensive coordinator? I mean, 64 years old, been out of the league for 2 years.
Yeah, that's not going to get this fan base charged up. If you had Ron Rivera as some sort of consultant on the defensive staff,
right?
Like I would rather him, back up Rallis at this point. I mean, somebody coming in. I mean, that Washington defense wasn't exactly humming when he was, moved on from during that tenure. And I'm wondering, like the reports came out. I think it was Brewer that said that Rivera talked to the Cardinals for 7 hours, and that doesn't point to them wanting to hire Ron Rivera. It's very similar to when they held a long meeting with Sean Payton, that they were probably getting somebody that's been in and around the league for years and just getting some outside eyes on what's gone wrong with this organization. Why, despite some of the goodwill that they created, they were back at square one again.
Yep. Yeah. Like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Because we had immense amount of belief in Jonathan Gannon, and how mid-season did it all fall apart? And, we'll be able to dissect that for many years to come, whether it was the interaction with DeMercado, the botching of the offensive play caller position, the fallout with Kyler Murray. So he gets a 5-year deal. So they didn't have to commit a 6-year deal like Dave Canales.
Right.
We don't have the numbers yet on the contract. We may not for a little while. And the next big shoe to drop is who's going to be his offensive and defensive coordinator. Right. But I think this fan base woke up this morning cynical. They got to lunch and they were irate. They were frustrated, and they now can at least rest easy going into this week for Super Bowl. Okay, they have a direction. They finally went within the division. They've got a guy who, fair or not, came into State Farm Stadium and dropped the most impressive offensive performance that we've seen by a coach during this cycle, right? 45 points. The LA Rams, went 8-9 straight drives without punting. I mean, this game was non-competitive. Cardinals had a lot of their defensive players available for that game. It was not a contest. And he was part of the number one offense. And he's part of an offense that features not one, but two high-level wide receivers in Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. The tight ends. I mean, you saw how many times did the tight end score against the Cardinals in that finale?
Too many.
There's a lot to like.
It felt like every big play that you were getting on offense is, Carolina. It's the tight end scoring the go-ahead touchdown. Tight ends are heavily featured. Fear not, Trey McBride fantasy football owners or just Trey McBride fans, McBridesmaids out there. But an ability to understand how to incorporate so many pieces on offense and get them rolling, which we weren't able to see on the previous play calling. I mean, I think you want LaFleur to come over and create an extension of what McVay has in place in Los Angeles. That's something that the Cardinals have been chasing, right? I mean, sometimes it's a nauseating point. Like you see, national pundits say like, well, like Steve Keim wanted this way back when. Well, it's different. It's Monti Ossenfort. But McVay, what was true back then in 2018 going into 2019 when the Cardinals were searching and ended up on Cliff Kingsbury, they wanted a young play calling phenom. But like what we're realizing with McVay, the operation that he has in place you're hard pressed to find a better one going in the NFL that like can find success and then create opportunities for other head coaches based on that success. Like that's what you want to start to find. And like, that's one thing that's so appealing about LaFleur is not only is he tied to McVay, but he's also tied to Shanahan, and he's also tied to his brother who has his own amount of success. And like, okay, can he go and find himself, connections throughout this league at this point in the coaching higher stage and fill out a staff that's going to be able to get this team back on the right track.
They want some of that, whatever that is, whatever that mojo is. Now, the difference is with the McVay pipeline, you've got Matt LaFleur going to competent Green Bay, historically great Green Bay. You've got Liam Cohen, Kevin O'Connell going to very well-run, stable Minnesota Vikings. Now, what I think should give people a lot of hope is Liam Cohen. Yes, he broke away and called plays for a year with a very stable Tampa Bay infrastructure that had a quarterback, had multiple receivers. But then he goes to Jacksonville, where Doug Peterson had failed. A lot of people had failed there. A lot of good coaches had failed. Urban Meyer couldn't even last half a season. And he immediately got them turned around to the point where now it's not just, hey, they're taking advantage of a bad schedule. They won 13 games. They went into Denver and beat them straight up. He put together a great coaching staff. His defensive staff was excellent. That to me is the selling point. Who can get this franchise back on track from a competent standpoint? The infrastructure, the day-to-day, knowing seeing what it's looked like at the highest level, being on the offensive side of the ball. Now, you had Trevor Lawrence, you had some pieces there, but just this team has to get back to basics. And I thought we're at that point with Jonathan Gannon. It was very sad how the falling out happened, but like I believed coming into the season, like Gannon was bust proof and couldn't have 3 or 4 win seasons. I was wrong. The hope is when you get somebody from this tree, you may not be a playoff team immediately, but you can be what Raheem Morris showed at the end of the year, who came from this tree. It's like, I can get you to 7 or 8 wins, even in a year where people don't love me. And I think Mike LaFleur hopefully can do that. Can he take a quarterback in the free agent market or in the draft and just say, hey, we're going to have our ups and downs, but at the end of the year, like we're going to be pointing in the right direction. Losing 14 and 15 games, you just don't survive that.
Yeah, you've got to fade that. You have to be able to find out how to get the results. Like there was a ton of great vibes from the previous organization. Like despite all the losing, like the locker room did maintain itself. It didn't start to cannibalize itself. Like you didn't see different position groups, offense versus defense. Obviously, there's failures across all 3 phases.
Yeah,
and vibes are great, but results are better.
Mm-hmm.
And can like Mike LaFleur be this guy that can tap into that? Can he have on his coaching staff what you didn't have on the previous one when things are spiraling and snowballing? Somebody that can help stop the bleeding. That's going to be so important, but also put in place and add on to the foundation that they started to build. Like this is not something that is devoid of talent. Like you've got a franchise left tackle. You talked about all the playmaking potential that you have there, including one of the greatest tight end seasons in history. Can you bring in somebody that can be, a game manager? That's not a 4-letter word. It would be in a good sense here.
Yeah.
And then like the biggest thing now is like the defense. Like we'll see. Like I don't think people are going to take the 3 years of play calling for Nick Rollis's experience, because we saw that didn't turn out well. That was not something.
Would you take it as experience?
I would. I mean, I would take it as a very brutal lesson to learn at this level. But like, who's going to kind of take somebody that has so much potential at the end from a coaching spot like Rollis, we thought was a budding star,
right? That
just him and his group fell off the rails. Like, how can you get back on the tracks again?
Yeah, and I brought up Patrick Graham. He had been a defensive coordinator before the Raiders. He had that experience. So I do think at the end of the day, like I think Nick could have success in this league. It may just need to be with another franchise.
Right. And to kind of like recontract with your fan base, like you have to put somebody on his staff that is recognizable,
right?
That's going to inspire like hope that you can take this guy that mostly everybody believed in until things started to really kind of squander there. Like it's the fourth quarters, but before that, like you said, okay, it's tight. The games are tight, and then games weren't any longer. And you're like, what's up with this defense?
Right. Why can't it perform? I think the development of young players, that's going to be held against Nick. Why can't Darius Robinson perform? What's happening with Cody Simon? Why is he going backwards? You got some good, progress from Denzel Burke, but like, why does Will Johnson look dejected and out of it at the end of games? Like, I just feel like it does feel like everybody needs a fresh start, but can they find the right person to give them that? Like
Right.
I'm probably in the minority here, Bo. Like I don't think you should just get rid of Nick Rallis to get rid of Nick Rallis. Like I think to get, Joe Blow, linebacker coach to come in here because it's not Nick Rallis, because I don't think Nick Rallis would be out of work very long. I look at what Nick Rallis did 2 years ago, when the defense was very respectable with no players. What happened to that? But again, it comes down to, at the end of the day, like, I want it to be Mike LaFleur's decision. And if Mike LaFleur is like, we're going to make a change, then you have to support that. But if Mike LaFleur comes in as like, everybody in this division respects Nick, he was put in a really tough spot last year, I think he can rebound, then, who am I to scoff at that? And again, that's likely going to be, I mean, Nick would basically be on like a 1-year deal. And it might have to be a scenario in which you keep him, you see how things go, you build your brand up a little bit from the ground up, the rubble that it is now, and then you go in the next offseason and you're like, hey, we're in a better spot, even though, Nick didn't perform. Let's go get, the equivalent of Raheem Morris next offseason. I know people don't want to talk about next offseason. I know there are people in this market that are fraudulently trying to report like the Cardinals really just don't know what they're going to do with defensive coordinator yet. Why are they keeping Nick Rallis in the building? Why hasn't Nick Rallis been able to go join Jonathan Gannon's staff or interview for other defensive coordinator options? It's because they're keeping their options open. It's because they're considering keeping him. So it's not my preference, but we've been reporting that for how long, Bo? 3 weeks that we've said, like, he's still there. Right. He might be the DC again.
Well, it's tough. You can't request a guy to interview to take a step down, right? You wouldn't be able to request a DC to come and interview for your linebackers coaching position. You know, so that becomes a little bit of a hurdle. Yeah, I mean, it's when we talk about like trying to win the optics game, it's just that's unfortunately where Rallis stands as far as the fan base. Now, like, is it a play like where people will be like, it'd be more of the same where they'd say, well, we're not renewing our season tickets? I don't think it's that drastic.
No.
The head coaching thing was very real.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many things this morning people were just like, I'm done. I had somebody say, I've been in season tickets since '88. I'm out. I mean, that's been the case for a while.
Right. So, but you got to do something to the defensive side of the football. If you can't land one of these guys, or you don't plan on, you've got to add somebody that's going to add a little hope to that side of the football. Because LaFleur brings a little bit of hope to the offensive side of the football, even though that seemed to be kind of ultimately the deterrent because of the lack of clarity as far as the direction of the quarterback position. And that's another part of this that's so important.
Let's break down the history here of new Arizona Cardinal head coach Mike LaFleur. Bo, walk us through this. A graduate of Division III, I believe Elmhurst College, where he was an offensive assistant, and has taken a long road to get to this point, Bo.
Yeah, and he started, way back when, his coaching career, and has worked his way up through different ranks. It was in Indiana at St. Joseph's, quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, made it to the I guess you could say, is Davidson is it D1?
I think it's maybe 1AA. I can't remember.
And at least it is in hoops, but I know those can vary. Yeah. But regardless, then he latches on with the Cleveland Browns in this offensive staff. He was an offensive intern along with Mike McDonald was there. McDaniel. Mike McDaniel was on that staff, and so was Kyle Shanahan. And they realized after working 1 year with Johnny Manziel, and being in that organization, they needed to jump ship. So they all went to the Atlanta Falcons as offensive assistant, and then followed Shanahan for his head coaching gig with the Niners. He was there all the way up until Robert Saleh took LaFleur with him to be the offensive coordinator for the Jets. They decided to pivot off Darnold. They take Zach Wilson. That's and you look at the playmaking department, they were pretty short there outside of Garrett Wilson, who he got to 1,000 yards in his rookie season and then ended up leaving unceremoniously, and then catches on with McVay the last 3 years with the Rams and as a non-play calling offensive coordinator.
You love to see it. I mean, he got a crash course in what it looks like with Shanahan, and in three separate spots, Cleveland, And then really with that Falcons team that went to the Super Bowl, the Niners in the early stages of, their modern day dynasty of going to Super Bowls and being a perennial contender. He had a stint with a bad franchise, with a bad quarterback, where he lost his quarterback's coach tragically. But like, he's been under the right kind of people. And again, I understand the optics of people saying, well, he hasn't proven anything on his own. This is their chance to do it. And I think given the optics of where the Cardinals sat in this coaching search, this is the kind of swing that you had to take. Universally, this move has been commended and people are excited about it. But there are people who are detractors of Mike, locally here in this market, in this fan base, because of the fact he hasn't accomplished anything on his own. I would just tell those people, what did you expect this team to do? This is the best candidate given the circumstances, easily. He cleared,
and the track record is there. Like McVay OCs who don't call plays. He's undefeated as far as those guys finding success.
Yeah.
So I know you're looking at, it's like these are easy connecting the dots, but yes, they're also easy dots to connect.
Mike's not just keeping those jobs with Shanahan and McVay because he's a good guy. Like, he's just grandfathered into those positions. Like, if he wasn't good at his job, he would be gone. Like, they would move off of him. Like, I get that those guys are offensive coordinator, by trade, and they're play callers and they're elite head coaches. But he immediately got the OC job when he was fired from the Jets. He didn't have to go slum it at the college level or be a wide receiver coach somewhere. Like, they immediately gave him that job. And I find that very encouraging. So the optics of this entire coaching search have been a disaster. This is a move I believe that should have been done days ago. But Adam Schefter, I think it was Schefter or Rap Sheet, saying that they were back to work on a deal last night. So deep down, the only thing you have to hope for is that this whole thing was a dog and pony show for agents and leverage, and they knew that Mike was the guy the minute he left Tempe. We'll never know. We'll never know the full story. But the most important thing is that they got to the end of the road with the right candidate. Because I'm going to tell you right now, before this news broke, I was ready to just basically proclaim the Lafleur to Arizona thing dead, just from my personal belief that how could you go back to him now? How could he agree to become your head coach now? I expected to see just some out of nowhere hire. I mean, Chad Forbes, who just throws anything at the wall to see what sticks, was saying that it's going to be Thomas Brown. Yeah. There was part of me who believed that maybe not Thomas Brown, but it was just going to be some rando. And because they had botched this so bad.
And he put a betting slip on it.
He did. He put $50 down.
Yeah, you're not going to cash that one, my man. Might want to find some more sources instead. But that's the unfortunate, one of the many unfortunate parts about this search, right? Is it left people to have to jump to their own conclusions, and through all the losses in the ever waning confidence, if there was any left in this organization to get it right. That's why you kept on seeing people not rule out Vance Joseph, even though we ruled him out a long time ago.
We did.
And the news came out that Ron Rivera interviewed for this job, and nobody wanted to actually take into consideration the fact that was over 2 weeks ago and there wasn't a second interview, and the finalists were there, right? But there was this Hail Mary attempt at Klint Kubiak. Did you say they rekindled talks last night? That's what
forgive me, I think it was Schefter.
That doesn't make me feel any better. It was like they knew. It's like Monti's jumping on the phone. It's like, yeah, it went exactly how we expected. Like he's ready to become the Raiders job, like head coach. I mean, it's like
it was very strange.
This was the most telegraphed thing of almost this entire coaching search.
I think it was embarrassing, but thank God it worked out. If somebody would have told me they're going to go through this charade, but they're still going to get LaFleur, I'd be like, all right, I don't love how this is going, but you accept it, right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of us rightfully thought that this is going to impact their chances of signing LaFleur. Now, I will give you credit because your last show was on Friday, and you said you still expected Mike LaFleur to become the head coach of this team. We had to get through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with Mike not pulling out for this job. And so maybe that was a very telltale sign. But
you don't get a deal done on Tuesday, and you say, wait, let's hold off a bit. We've got one last interview, and like if you're LaFleur, you just think about it from the standpoint of what did I not tell you, right? What did you not hear from me to not offer me the position right now? And like for people to understand, like that would open up obviously a complete logical second guessing from LaFleur's standpoint, but also let's not put, as much as I like the hire, let's not put LaFleur on this pedestal like,
No.
hey, he's this heavily sought after guy. But some people would say from a self-respect standpoint that he should at least reconsider it. But
Right.
let's also understand this was a guy that like the highest position he held, or at least the highest ranking position, was a play calling OC for the Jets. And that went horribly. But as we can tell from the Jets organization, nobody can find success there.
Right.
Right. So for him to go to LA and kind of get some juice around him to this point where he's getting head coaching interviews again, like it made him a candidate, but it didn't make him the perfect candidate. And like for him to go back under McVay, like the only other thing I think he could have gone and done is be an OC elsewhere.
That's maybe Seattle when Kubiak leaves. I saw somebody float that this morning. I'm like, that would be the fresh hell that we would have to endure as Cardinals.
But then he, more likely than not, he's putting himself in a position just like the job he was just offered in the book. So
I want to bring this up. The Cardinals finally tweet from their own account. They say, "Welcome to the Arizona Cardinals, Coach LaFleur." They don't use an exclamation point. They feel like this whole thing probably it's been beaten down. But I just want to read some of the comments here because again, let the healing begin. Should have been done this Tuesday. Thank you for making the right decision. Brian P, of course, better late than never. Maserati Marv saying, "Let's go." Should have been the hire a while ago, but whatever. Welcome, Coach. Thank you. Somebody did put an L. Let's go. Now hire Thomas Brown. WWW. He deserves better. Tell Bidwill to sell. Finally, great hire. So on and so forth. So like the optics with this fan base are this coaching search has left us physically and emotionally drained. You should have done this forever ago. But in the end, what's the most important thing? You made the right decision. You made the right decision. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody can see if this is going to work out 3, 4, 5 years down the line. But if you go back to one of our first shows of this entire saga, we would have said a Mike LaFleur would have been a good choice for the Cardinals given where they stood. Kubiak, once it became clear, Stefanski, Harbaugh, the Saleh ordeal, I think really after the Saleh ordeal, when that died, it became abundantly clear, like, okay, please don't settle for Vance. Please don't settle for an outside-the-box candidate.
Yeah.
Go and get one of the 2 Rams coordinators, preferably the one on the offensive side.
Right.
That was 2.5 weeks ago. And now we're here and it finally gets done. I'm grateful that the team eventually made the right decision because, I mean, it was going to be hard to cover this team positively. And we're positive people on the show had they hired Anthony Weaver. Had they hired Vance Joseph, right? Like I don't, this show doesn't feed off. Bo and I aren't wired this way. We don't feed off negativity. There are people that's their entire shtick. That's their bit. Like, and there are people who come from outside this market or outside this fandom, and it's just a job. And it's just like, I'm just going to tell you what's happening with the team and I'm going to take emotion out of it. Like, no, we're emotional people because we want this team to succeed. Like all 1,800 people watching now. And it would have been very difficult to come and do this show every day and not be critical of the optics of hiring one of those other candidates.
Yeah. Because I got quotes from all the, you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
The Cardinals officially put out the press release of the hiring of Mike LaFleur as their next head coach.
Yes.
Cards owner Michael Bidwill. Quote, "We had the opportunity to speak with an outstanding group of candidates during this very thorough process and gathered tremendous insight from each of them. At the end of that process, it was clear that Mike LaFleur possesses all the traits necessary to lead this team to success as its head coach. He is highly intelligent with exceptional, sharp, creative football mind. Mike is also a dynamic and innovative leader exactly the type of person we are looking for to guide our team as its head coach. Go on here with Monti Ossenfort. In his career, Mike has been around some of the best, brightest coaches in football and has been a key contributor to highly successful teams. He understands what winning football looks like and what it takes to achieve it. Mike is a strong communicator with a detail-oriented teaching style. Has always gotten the best from his players. We're incredibly excited to bring him to the Cardinals.
It's 38 years. You got more? Is that it?
Yeah, one from Mike LaFleur, your new head coach.
Yeah, let's hear from him.
Couldn't be more fired up to become the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. I am beyond grateful to Michael Bidwill and Monti Ossenfort for this opportunity. Having competed against them in the NFC so many times in the recent years, I know the type of talent and toughness the team has and cannot wait to get to Arizona to hit the ground running. Should say back to Arizona.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my trip. I'd like another dinner. That's better late than never. Well, that would have hit like you wouldn't believe midweek, but Sunday morning, fair enough. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is excited about this. Marv was excited when Drew left. Let's be real. I think
Dad probably even more so.
People are going to say this is pathetic. I think the players will look at this and say, well, this gives us some legitimacy because he came from a successful franchise. We need somebody to legitimize what we do. And hopefully it's this guy because he's seen it done. And like Jonathan Gannon had a legitimate case to be made coming from Philly and his background, but it ran out, right? And he wasn't from this division. And we've said it from the beginning. If you couldn't get an experienced head coach, somebody with gravitas and rings and wins like a Harbaugh, like, okay, even like a Sean McDermott, then you needed to get somebody from the division. You had to get a high-end coordinator that wanted to come here. And so now Trey McBride can say like, okay, my franchise is on the right track. I've seen what Mike LaFleur can do. We know how tough this division is. We've won 3 division games in 3 years. Like we're getting back on the right track now. But Mike LaFleur being 38 years old, Nick Rallis was the youngest DC in the NFL when he was hired. They need some experience now. You've checked the box of innovator, McVay-Shanahan tree, NFC West ties. It's time to get, preferably, and that people can knock me for this or whatever, preferably a defensive coordinator that can relate to players, a defensive coordinator with experience. And, am I disappointed that there were no Black African-American coaches hired this hiring cycle? Of course, right? I think getting ex-players on the Cardinal staff would do wonders for them defensively. Look what happened with Ben Johnson and the staff he put together defensively. I know his DC wasn't, a black coach or a former player, but he had a resume and he crushed it this year. But look at all the people that got opportunities from that staff that are former players. I think this defense needs that. Anthony Weaver, 100%. That is what this franchise needs to pursue, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Ben Johnson adopted that from Dan Campbell, which was initially laughed at.
Right.
You remember when the Lions did their Hard Knocks, and they're like, oh, Mark Brunell and Deuce Staley. And
right.
There's a position group that's not coached by a former player, or that doesn't really, tend to lead to results. And it actually was very impactful.
Yeah.
As far as how they developed that team, that young group, and then ended up taking off and being the Lions that we know now. And I think that Ben Johnson took some of that and brought it with him to Chicago. And when you can play the game at a high level, and then you also can communicate it, which is also a big part of it. I think it resonates a little bit better. You just didn't have that. I think Ben Steele, their tight ends coach, which actually was their most productive group, probably. It was the only guy that had experience, really legitimate experience at the NFL level.
I'm going to give you a name that I just saw brought up in the chat that I meant to bring up earlier. That was a under the radar candidate for the Cardinals OC job, but likely wouldn't have gotten it because he didn't have the experience. What about like a Dave Ragone to come here and call plays? Dave Ragone, who's I believe the Rams quarterback coach.
Yeah.
I think that you get him a promotion because Shieldhouse is likely going to be the new OC. Mm-hmm. I think Dave Ragone, who's got, significant ties. Let me read you Dave Ragone's background with the Falcons.
There's one tie I'm interested to see what the reception is going to be, but go ahead.
Rams quarterback coach the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Falcons offensive coordinator. He's been a play caller before 2021 to 2023. Arthur Smith. That's the tie.
Yeah.
And then he's got experience. He was with the Bears. He was their passing game coordinator, quarterbacks coach. He had a stint with the Commanders, the Redskins at the time, the Titans. I think Dave Ragone, that would be a great hire for them.
Where did he play collegiately again?
He played collegiately at the University of Louisville.
Who was on that team?
Jonathan Gannon. We knew Jonathan Gannon liked him.
We did. It was the quarterback, right? Wasn't he the quarterback of the team that Gannon was on?
Yes.
Yeah. Look, we're going to be interesting. No doubt about it. But I mean, you're looking at the collective group, the offensive group. And then you would want to find, a defensive, kind of, if it's going to be Rollis, find somebody else that can work with Rollis.
Yeah. I think Ragone and a experienced seasoned DC. Now you're cooking with gas. Now people are back in.
And you know what? I think like next Thursday when we talk to him on Radio Row, we got to ask Kurt Warner. Is he interested in the job? Can we get Kurt Warner on the show?
I'm going to ask Kurt Warner. I don't think about that. I'm going to ask him point blank if he'd be interested in becoming the team president. If they would be interested in having a leadership role.
That would end his interviews with us. That's for sure.
An optics executive role with, I don't mean to
we'll
spoil
on that sword.
I already had that question queued up for Kurt. You have any interest? Because the Cardinals have a tough time with their, regardless of how they want to spin it publicly here at the presser. I don't want to be too negative here. The optics of the last 3.5 weeks have been bad. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
The only positive they had is that wholesome AF video with LJ Collier and Dalvin Tomlinson that name escapes me from the team, does a nice job writing for their team.
Yeah.
Put out that got picked up by Barstool and LeBron James. Like, that's the only win they've had this offseason until this point. They need some positive press. You need Kurt Warner, a part of this franchise, to just be the beacon of hope. To come in here and legitimize it. And God, he lives here. I'm sure he would do it.
Right. He's going to be right up there by the new facility, right?
Right.
And it's like you're going to lean into the Fitz angle this entire offseason, right?
Yes.
Just wear it out and continue to lean in nostalgia with a guy that's well respected around the leagues. It's just look at the wonders it's done for Atlanta. Everybody, like, and a lot of people still do this, and I understand it because he got his rings there, but like they associate Kurt Warner more so with the Rams than they do with the Cardinals. This would add another, notch to Warner being more invested in the Cardinals, who is able to make that Super Bowl. So in 2008, 2009, we've got 70 super chats. People are fired up.
A lot of them were pre this news too. Yeah. So we'll have to give them their day in the sun here. Hit that like. Anything from this entire angle that we met. I mean, our flight leaves 7:30 tomorrow, Arizona time.
Yeah.
So
earlier than that. So make sure you make the proper adjustments.
It leaves earlier than that?
I think it's 7:05, Johnny. Don't be late.
I think that's boarding time. I think the flight leaves at 7:30. What time? Hang on. This is not good podcasting. I think you're incorrect.
I'm looking to see if they've scheduled a press conference tomorrow. So far, not.
It boards at 7:05. But the point remains. It's an early flight. Chains in the chase is 7:35. Hit that like button.
Wrong. Johnny's right.
We're going to be, just like this cycle, we're going to be in Santa Clara tomorrow. And here's the good news. Programming alert for everybody here. Same showtime. No difference in showtime. So we're going to be going
What about
live
tomorrow? I know you're saying that. Are we going a little earlier to make media night?
Yeah, so different showtime tomorrow. Excuse me. Tomorrow's showtime will be different. Tuesday through Friday will be the same showtime. Shut up, Shane. Get out of here.
Here's the good news. Except for immediately tomorrow, starting tomorrow. So we'll be a little bit earlier tomorrow.
We're partying.
Yeah, we'll get is it Ski Man? Ski Man will get into a prediction as far as OCDC here by the end of the show, but we need to roll through these super chats. Overwhelmed by an unbelievable amount. 70 super chats from the Cardinals community.
Real quick before we get started, if you were not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and get us to 50K. it would be good mojo for this coaching staff and the potential OC/DC hires if you just click subscribe.
Yeah. And I love the passion that people came out of the gates with when the only news was that the Cardinals were the bridesmaid once again.
Yeah.
Klint Kubiak going to the Raiders. So reminder of that. That's where the energy, that's what the vibe was to start this show.
Yes.
Our guy Ranger kicking us off. Oh, yeah. So he had dinner with the Raiders Friday night, spent all day with them Saturday, and did not get to the Cards till late the night. How sad is this front office?
It's pretty. The optics of it were very sad. We were sad boys and girls, and we were ready to just annihilate this team, and then they pivoted quickly. But they wanted to say they had talked to Klint Kubiak. They talked to him.
Yeah.
I mean, 8:00 interview time. We didn't even get into that. How ridiculous that was. It's just like the interview starting at 7 p.m. Seattle time, 8:00 Arizona time. It's like people are like, what?
Yeah. Full disclosure, I'm at the age in life where I don't leave my house after 8:00. I'm like, what are they doing?
People were texting me like noon yesterday. They're like, how'd the interview go? And I was just like, I didn't respond because I'm like, do we know what happened? Did they cancel? Rangers back $10. Monti need to fire. He is a bad GM. Like Johnny said, he might be better as a scout. We have not seen Monti wheel and deal with a coach, with a high-level coordinator in free agency. Monti's got a lot to prove this offseason because there are a lot of people thinking, well, if Jonathan Gannon was fired, why does Monti Ossenfort get to keep his job? So this is a step in the right direction, though. Monti you had to have this. You had to have it.
Keeping it going here with the super chats. How about let's see.
Here, I got to get these because Noah can't see the early ones.
Okay.
Here we go. Go ahead, Bo.
Monti has many head coaches as he does Pro Bowlers.
One.
He's so in 3 seasons, the Browns have drafted more Pro Bowlers than Monti Ossenfort since Shador made it.
Yep. Iron Will, $5. Vance Joseph was always going to be the pick. Management just gave a smokescreen of effort to hide their real intent. I'm so sad if I'm right. Hopefully, Iron Will, you got a big smile on your face. Can we just take a second that this podcast universally said they are not hiring Vance Joseph. The fan base won't accept it. You don't fire JG to hire Vance Joseph. And there were people in this market that told you to be content with hiring Vance Joseph. This podcast and this fan base said
they wouldn't change their pick. They're like, nah, I'd rather be right than you guys get what you want.
It's always been Vance Joseph. They didn't get a second interview. He's got like we didn't even get to yesterday. Jim Leonard got the DC job in Buffalo.
Right.
You think he's getting the DC job in Buffalo? Vance Joseph was getting this job? No, they would have promoted him like they did Davis Webb.
Right.
I mean, there are people.
Don't let the facts get in the way of some narratives.
I'm going to tell you right now, too, real quick, and I don't mean to bang on this drum too much. If there are people getting information today, that's because the team is making it available to them. If they didn't have information for 3.5 weeks, they don't have information. Okay? And they didn't have information. Right. So if they're getting information, that information is teed up for them by the team.
Well, after everything has happened, this too. Guys in Hawaiian shirts, bad Hawaiian shirts on Twitter, who their day job is being a bet analyst, that live in North Carolina. They don't have ties either. So, like, to put out there that this is a Bidwill hire, he was a LaFleur guy, right? Or did he say,
yeah,
Bidwill was camping out?
I don't know.
Regardless of what it was, that information.
He put out Ron Rivera was getting the job. Stop giving these people engagements. They're not worth it. AZ Cardinals 11. So how much longer are we going to need to wait for the hire? Not very long. Not very long. But you know what? We waited too long. I mean, it's February. This could
have been a spike the football moment for the organization if they just dropped it a few days ago.
Thank you. It's good to see everybody here, including Charlie. $10. The Cardinals are humiliating themselves for no reason. They definitely did. Everyone on the planet Earth, except local radio, apparently knew Kubiak wasn't taking the job. Yeah, you said it. We didn't, Charlie, but that's 100% right. I could talk myself into Klint Kubiak. Resign. Better go crawl back to Mike LaFleur or Weaver loading. Hopefully his loading is the DC. Yeah. But Charlie, great supporter of this community, and I'm sure he's happy for Cardinal fans.
With takes like you could talk yourself into Kubiak at this point. Go work in music radio. Go talk about Dua Lipa.
You clip that. You put it on your Instagram. You put it on your social media. It's like, if that comes out of somebody's mouth on air, I'm burying that. I'm telling Noah, archive that. Don't put that out there.
Alex, Member for 4 months. Let's go. Everyone knew we never had a chance at Kubiak except Michael, Bidwill, and Monti. I can't believe I support this pathetic excuse of an organization.
This was the darkest it's ever been this morning because everybody, like when I saw the tweet go out, I'm like, well, of course.
Completely unfazed.
Yes, it didn't bother anybody. I was like, I never once thought like, oh, I'm gonna have to eat crow on this.
There was just a overwhelming in abundance, and rightfully so. If I told you so,
right?
Keeping it going.
Yes, Charlie's back.
Yeah, I hope the Cardinals fans aren't susceptible to gambling addictions because they're fixing to set sail a river on a boat with captain named Ron.
What if Ron is their defensive coordinator just out of left field? Would you be okay with that?
No, but I would not. I think his days of being, I think him being the GM of Cal, that's a good spot.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the GM of Cal that let Fernando Mendoza go off to Indiana and become a national champion, Heisman Trophy winner. Yeah. I think he should just stay there.
He's also good on TV too. I was like looking up clips of him. Like he goes on Kay Adams show. Like that's his job now.
Okay.
$5 from L Machinaz. Why didn't Johnny tell us Kubiak was going to the Raiders? I was so hopeful. That's tongue in cheek because we were the only people in this market. Not the only, but universally that were like, this is dumb. We called it dumb. We called it stupid. And then the people that are in this market that are like, this was going to be the move all along. They got Mike. It's like, guys, you were panhandling for Kubiak 48 hours ago, and you let people get excited. I couldn't believe the amount of Cardinal fans. It was like 1 out of 5 that were like, just let this play out. Let's see this through. They have a shot. They know something we don't. They don't. They didn't. Here we go. Back up. Libertarian Sasquatch, predictable and embarrassing. This is the way.
Ranger avoided it.
Yes, Ranger's back. 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Ranger. We appreciate you. We're back through the chaos. Jeff, as a Raider fan here, I'm just giving you all some support. We went through it last year with Ben Johnson.
We appreciate that, Jeff. And there was no animosity towards the Raiders. I mean, no. I think any smart Cardinals fan, and there's a ton of them, right? This community is really aware of where they stand. Like, nobody was buying the Kubiak. If there was Cardinals fans like pushing back on the idea that the Raiders were the favorite, like it wasn't based in a realm of logic.
I did a hit with your buddy Q with Vegas Radio Friday, and I think he was shocked that my hit was so pro-Raider and so anti-Cardinal. He couldn't believe it.
Really?
Yes, because
that's not the only, because I got a Raider fan friend that reached out to me too. Yeah. He's like, what's your feel on this? I'm like, I can't believe the Cardinals are taking this interview. He's like, I'm glad you're saying that. And like, no, Kubiak's you're gonna be rooting for a team coached by Kubiak.
Yeah, you did it. Congrats. We knew it. Ben, the Cardinal fan, get Mike LaFleur on that jet. He's on it, baby. Great. And again, like Cardinal fans, it's great that universally it seems like Mike's gonna be supported here. I would not have wanted it for Raheem or Anthony Weaver or Vance Joseph, and I hate all of them. I hate that all of them are coaches of color, because that makes it even worse from an optic standpoint. That something doesn't sit well with me with that, because they just would have been up against it, not only with their job and the team, but the fan base. And I didn't want that for their families coming here. Like I want any new coach to be embraced, right? But they would have had to wear all the baggage that this fan base has had. I mean, 19 wins in 4 seasons. Like I'm not saying you should always hire who the fan base wants, but this one was pretty obvious here. He was the best candidate that they could have gotten. How can anybody dispute that?
Hannibal, I just hope MILF doesn't get miffed with nonsense that Monti and Bidwill just pulled and say no.
He did not.
He didn't.
Took that fat check, baby. 5 years, generational wealth, and he gets out of LA with the taxes and the cost of living and come here and buy a fat place, North Phoenix, and set his kids up and his family up for, generations to come if he wins.
You can be the narrator of this one. He did not say no. Connor became a YouTube member. Thank you for your support, Connor. Glad to have you in the fold. Make sure you're a subscriber as well. We'd love to see us get to 50K here this week.
Hammer the like.
Rogers Camardi, who was, of course, part of the deal that brought Kevin Kopp to the desert, remember? How
Yeah.
about does anyone have a time machine to go back to the day before Charlie Bidwill purchases the Chicago Cardinals?
Don't need a
Do they
time
ever
machine.
get to the desert?
I'm happy they're here today. I know a lot of people are like, fold the franchise. Not
Phoenix
today.
would have a team. They would have a team somewhere.
Yeah. Hannibal, what a great present on my birthday card. Shaking my head. Well, Hannibal, happy birthday. I hope your birthday has taken a turn for the best. It's great. Like, we're going to talk about coordinators. It's great to talk about ball again. It's going to be great to talk about players. We haven't touched a mock draft in weeks. We haven't previewed free agency, what's going to happen with Kyler. We can get into all that and more next week. But it's just, this was such a dominating topic and a soul-sucking topic where the Cardinals just kept taking L's. It's great that it's finally over. I honestly, I'm in a little bit of disbelief that it happened because I know the part of me
happened while we were on air. I like that. I really do appreciate that.
There was a part of me like doing the show with Espo, and I'm like, is this just going to go into next week? Are they just going to be looking for coaches next week off the street? But no, thankfully not. Roadhouse Mouse, $4.99, Bo. It's one thing to suck at football. It's another thing to suck at everything else. Browns of the West, feeling flat. No way I get up later tonight. I mean, that's true. It's like there are a lot of teams that like the Dolphins stink, but they got an A+ facility and they're number one in the NFLPA grades. Cardinals, like before this move, they're be hard pressed. They're last in a lot of things.
Yeah,
you can't be bad at everything.
Right. And it's going to be a tough NFLPA grading season for the Cardinals coming up here around combine time. You're just going to have to prepare yourself for that. But the next phase of this thing, the beginning of the Mike LaFleur era, has to be elevating the brand above just the bottom of the
Get some flipping juice back, man. Yeah. Let's get some juice going. Libertarian Sasquatch. And we're here to help Cardinals. If you want to tap us on the shoulder, we'd love to be the leaders of the juice train. $1.99 to quote Egg. This is undignified, sir. Who's Egg? Do we know Egg? Is that a historical quote? I need to buff up on my history.
I don't know. Or is that like I think you should leave skit? I can't tell.
All right, good deal. Derek Quimby became a member. Let's go, Derek.
Love that. How about 1976 Starks? T Starks. Did we truly blow LaFleur asking for a friend?
Narrator, they did not. They're a special relationship. Got it going today. Thank the football gods that they did not. I can't comprehend the fact that it broke on our show. I thought we were going to be doing another show today, and it was going to be Anthony Weaver. My barber, Danny, $4.99. Anytime I tell someone I'm a Cardinals fan, they say the same thing. I'm sorry. Every time, 25 years, no end in sight. Danny, I was riding the Peloton, shameless plug, earlier when the news broke about LaFleur, and I texted my wife. I'm like, I'm going live at 12:30, and she goes, "Coach?" ? And I said they were rejected by Kubiak, and it's just a long laughing text. And I said, "Who could have thought?" And she goes, "Classic." My wife gets it. She's just like, this team, just they're here to cause us pain and misery. But thankfully, they rallied today. They picked themselves up and they rallied.
We're making our way towards when the audience finds out that the Cardinals did hire Mike LaFleur. Like Johnny's face lit up like Christmas morning when Bo said LaFleur. That made me so weak. LOL.
Well, you had said that they're working on a deal, and then I looked at Twitter, and then Pelissaro and Rap Sheet immediately had that they had a deal, and I was a lot of emotions came. We've been doing 2-hour shows every day.
You were on your soapbox. You were just.
I was laying into him. I was like, they've blown this. This is over.
And I'm sitting there like,
no, they deserved it. They still deserve to be criticized for this process.
No, and like even though it was way too late, like them to work quickly today. A little credit.
Like,
how about
like they didn't need to take the Kubiak L, guys. You could have just avoided that.
Yes. Who said it? I think it was Bees. He said it on Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
Where it was like, this is all self-inflicted. This is self-sabotage.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Rangers back. I think we were watching this stream. I think they were watching this stream.
I hope so. If they've got it on right now, Cardinals, good job. Good job, Cardinals. Thumbs up. Let's get back to football. Jack, war is over. Yeah, it felt like a war. I mean, they've been at war with their fan base. That's where the war was. It wasn't with
LaFleur hired.
Wave the white flag. Iron Will, $2. I take back my Vance Joseph super chat with glee. I mean, the people who wanted Vance Joseph in this market, disappointing, but predictable. And this fan base said, I mean, they didn't even entertain a second interview with Vance. What did that tell you?
Yeah.
Like, we were confident it wasn't going to be Vance this whole time. I mean, Raheem and Anthony Weaver would have still been disappointing, but like Vance Joseph was just a different level of cope that we would have had to deal with.
We never did one legitimate show, stream, VOD, short thinking about Vance Joseph being a serious option.
Nope. Monti Ossenfort wasn't going to tie his career to Vance. Ben, the Cardinals fan, $2. I used to pray for times like this. I mean, used to. It's just me every day.
Enjoy it. The good times are fleeting, so just make sure you enjoy it. Appreciate you, Ben, the Cardinals fan. How about Chaz? Embarrass yourself to get ML. Thank God he said yes.
That's right. And there were people who thought he'd reject them. I hope that it was just maybe deliverables and they had to get more money for staff or whatever. But I mean, they didn't have to go 6 years. You and I thought there'd be an outside shot they'd have to do 6 years.
They didn't have to fly to Seattle. How about this? Very generous. Connor Herbst, $49.99, $50.
Bang, 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 bang. Hit that like.
The struggles. Love it, Connor.
I don't have any alcohol on me, but I did drink this Premier Protein shake that I drink every day. Yeah. So this
people have been commenting. They think I'm drinking a 40. I'm not going to confirm or deny that. We're going to keep that question going. I appreciate that.
I did here. I'm going to tell you real quick before we go on. I bought Michelob Ultras to celebrate for the other night. It never happened. They sat in my fridge. I drank one like a sad boy on my couch last night, scrolling Twitter, thinking that they had blown this.
I think I might need to just unleash all like the text from Johnny. I mean, because I was down bad being sick, and I would look at my phone periodically, and there'd just be like, John would just rip off like 4 in a row. Just completely like going through it. We're go to the next.
Those are private. Yeah. Those are private. Monti Ossenfort's been a member for 4 months. Let's go. Y'all are welcome. No, Monti, you're welcome. That this fan base is still here. You took too long, but all good. All
here
good.
We go. Just straight up, just Bo. What the F are they doing? Where is the coach? I'm at the point where they've waited so long to hire LaFleur. It might be a complete random hire like Rivera. They've completely broken me.
But it's like keeled over. It's got his Theraflu, and I'm just firing those texts. My family's like been legitimately worried for my like mental state. Yeah, I mean, like I love doing this show. I don't want to be negative.
Yeah,
I want to be positive.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're positive people. I love the players on this team.
Oh, it bogs me down when we have to be so.
No,
negative.
It's been terrible. Yeah. That's not good for. If you feed off of hate, then you're doing that for revenue, and I hate that. And I know there are people who are like positive to a fault too. Yeah. Like we're in the middle. We're in the middle, and then this has been a dark time. I mean, this season was draining already. Doing post-game show after post-game show of just ass kicking and beatings, and it's just like, what is there? You couldn't even analyze the games at the end of the year. They were so bad. Cedric, $2. We're free. It's finally over. Let's go. That's right. We are free. I mean, now it's like, what do they do with Kyler Murray? Can they get picks for him? I mean, they have the 3rd overall pick. We should be fired up about that. Finally. Flip him finally. AZ Gunner 199. I'm the Simpsons meme. Not today, old friend. Love that picture of Cortez and that avatar too.
Rangers gifting more memberships. Thank you, Ranger. Unbelievable.
Alex 199. Thank God Mike was still willing to come here. Thank God. You're a gem, Mike. We love you before you even step foot on the field. Thanks for giving us a chance.
Hopefully it's just based off his confidence. He's like, I just give me an opportunity. I'm ready to take it and run with it. Dylan, support. Welcome.
Love it. Hit that subscribe.
Brian P. As far as sloppy seconds go, could be worse than Mike LaFleur. Hope you're feeling better, Bo. Next focus is DC support staff. Kyler on deck.
I mean, does Kyler Murray get traded this month? I think, is what we go to now, because free agency starts like 7 to 10 days into March. Kyler Murray could be traded this month, though. Like you could have, like, I think that could get done.
It's probably a combine thing.
Right. And that's the
Everybody
last
gets
week of
together.
February.
Yeah. Cedric's back. Thanks, guys, for keeping us updated through the coaching search. We got some experience doing this. We did it 3 years ago.
Some say we thrive doing it, but this almost killed me. This will probably be my last one. Merv is back. Good to see you. Merv's been going after the Cardinals on Twitter. He hasn't been holding back.
Monti. Didn't he say like a substitute teacher called him by
his name? Yeah, that's great. That's a cool.
Carp Fish is back. Raheem and Anthony Weaver for DC or Jim Schwartz.
Let's see what happens with Anthony Weaver now.
Yeah. Schwartz is under contract. That's gonna be the Browns Browning again with their how they went for their search.
And we saw too. Weaver had ties to the NFC West, and I think had ties to LaFleur. So that there's still something there. I mean, just tell Anthony Weaver, we're going to pay you good money. Please come here and fix our defense.
Yeah.
But Dolphins fans, by the way, really love Anthony Weaver and said he got kind of done dirty with their personnel.
Okay.
Wouldn't hate it.
How about LaFleur is going to feel like second fiddle, but I know this fan base will make him feel welcome.
Would love it. Would absolutely love it. I mean, Marvin Harrison Sr. probably loves this move too.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, real offense? We'll hear from Jameson Williams' dad this year before we hear from Marv's dad.
His brother, Matt, his offense is very wide receiver friendly.
Yep.
It's everybody involved. And then McVay. And then Shanahan. Like he comes from he's got his resume loaded working with guys and being associated with guys who can spread the ball around.
Would you sign Kirk Cousins?
That's the thing. You're really gonna have to. That's where you're gonna have to settle. Is what the quarterback's gonna be next year.
1 year, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to damper the mood. Sorry about that, everyone. Martin,
would I take Kirk Cousins over Jimmy G? Yes.
Is Kirk Cousins better than Jacoby Brissett right now?
I mean, it is razor edge. Right.
Hang on. Kirk Cousins last year, when he was healthy, the end of the year, yeah, his numbers, his numbies, 10 touchdowns, 5 picks, his game log at the end of the year. He won 4 in a row in those games against Tampa at Tampa. 30 of 44, 373, 3 touchdowns, Bo. Then he went to Arizona, beat the Cardinals, 2 touchdowns. Then he played against the Rams in that Bijan game.
One of the touchdowns was to Bijan too, and it was like not contested by the Cardinals defense.
I love that day. That was a good day. And then he beat the Saints 19-7. I mean, that's a game manager though. Can he be a game manager for you? Can he play point guard for you one last time?
Martin was afraid they hire Rivera after all that. He just wanted to get away from the Cousins talk.
There was
time for that.
There were so many bad fallout options for this to go. It's like, thank God they didn't do that.
Tony Thompson just heard Bird Community is suing the organization to change the team name because of the bad rap. People that see Cardinals now, they're called losers. Sell team.
There is some a universal thing where you see a Cardinal fan in public and they've seen some shit and you just give each other a head nod, and then other fan bases see you and they're just like, feel for you, bud. It's like when you see a Jets fan. Tim, $89. Thank you so much, Tim. Glad the interview.
What currency is that?
I'm not sure.
Denmark. There it is.
Yeah. Glad the interview at the Dollar Tree went well. Cheers from Denmark. Born and raised in Arizona. Love listening to you guys. Keep up the awesome content. Thank you, Tim. Dollar Tree, they crushed it. So many great snacks. And then they hammered out a deal with LaFleur in the parking lot of the Dollar Tree.
We've got some Dr. Peepers here. It's store brand. We've got some cups so we can all share.
You can get your balloons filled here for free. They've got free helium.
AZ Cards 11. So when does Johnny chug beers?
I will tell you. So we leave for the Super Bowl tomorrow. We will give you all the behind the scenes content in our Discord and the tomfoolery, us out and about, hanging out, partying, celebs, all that. It's only going in the Discord. So if you're a member, if you're diehard, go on the Discord and you get to see it. Uncut, unfiltered. I'm sure Bo and I will make, joke clowns of ourselves throughout the course of the week.
Libertarian Sasquatch. I mean, it's a dub, but I'm not going to praise them. Should have been done a week ago. Whole thing still makes you look dysfunctional and clearly are.
Yep. It exposed them. They were not prepared. I had somebody text me this morning that they fired Gannon as a PR stunt. And again, like two things can be true. Was it impossible to bring back Gannon after losing 14 and 15? Yes. And I know they believe that Gannon would win some of those games at the end, and then it just became overwhelming. But then also on the flip side, this coaching search exposed them. They were not prepared. And they did not have good optics for the rest of the league, because how many openings do we have originally? Like 5 to 6, and it ballooned to 10. And and half the league is turning over offensive coordinators. So I think Libertarian Sasquatch, you're correct. They are very fortunate to end up where they're at. So it's like Bruce Arians. It doesn't matter how you got there. And I'm not comparing Mike LaFleur to Bruce Arians. All that matters is you get the right coach.
Yeah. Well, you've found, new lows as an organization. You got to start to raise the floor a little bit, and you're chipping away at it. You're not going to be able to go, and everybody's like, have standards for yourself as an organization. It's like, want to be a playoff contender. It's like, no, you got to get up a little bit lower than that. Set your sights a little lower, get there and take this thing step by step. Getting the coach in place. You got that box checked, get the new facilities, continue to work on the roster, and then your perception around the league will start to change. I mean, the Raiders were viewed as a big-time organization in this situation. The Titans, who just endured a horrible season, probably the worst team in football.
Yeah,
they were viewed as a destination for one of these coaches. At the very least, get in that position.
Got to be better. Next super chat, 199. I'm glad we didn't get another KK as head coach. Cliff Kingsbury to Klint Kubiak. Yeah, I memean, Klint Kubiak would have been a home run, but it became very clear to people who understand the optics of where they're at that he was not a realistic option. Like that, there was a realist that was understood like 2 weeks ago. So they are very fortunate it didn't cost them their best option from a realistic standpoint, Mike LaFleur.
Brian P. Let's not pretend AFC West are bums. Denver made the AFC Championship. Mahomes and Herbert are damn good quarterbacks. Harbaugh, Reed, and Payton aren't bum head coaches.
1,000%. Now, the only difference is that those coaches are what, in their 60s? The NFC West coaches are not in their 60s. But, I mean, Reed he'll be vulnerable without Mahomes next year. To what extent, we're not sure.
Yeah.
And Harbaugh's elite and Payton's elite. So, 100%, Brian. I mean, the Cardinals, though, I mean, what they have to deal with is just it's on a different level. But you're not wrong.
Citrus, we had to hear Vance Joseph propaganda and general incompetence for the whole cycle. Just happy it's finally over. Thank God.
And it made you uneasy because it was clear what was happening. It was clear that Vance's people wanted that information out there, and it was clear that people in this market couldn't think for themselves, and they exposed themselves because they didn't have sources to rely on. So they tried to get ahead of it and piggyback. And today you're going to try to tell you that it was LaFleur all along. It's like, no, you outed yourself.
Yeah.
Own it and move on.
How about our guy Fleets jumping in? LaFleur saving Kyler and MHJ.
I think the latter more than the former. Kyler Murray is going to be cut or traded here in the next month. I hope they can get picks for him. Mike LaFleur is going to be able to pick his own quarterback, not only this offseason, but next offseason. Kyler Murray's days with this franchise are coming to an end.
Daniel Marmol, I will be, repping my Cards cap in Madrid Super Bowl party in Spain, but with shame because the shit Bidwill just put us through.
But now, what if we fast forward and it's like Cardinals get a second round pick for Kyler? Mm-hmm. Maybe they bring in Kirk Cousins, and then we get to the draft and they get Reuben Bain third overall, and they trade up and they get Ty Simpson, and then we're at training camp and it's like there's Ty Simpson, there's Reuben Bain, Marv's looks good. I mean, the people will be excited again because the talent on the roster. It's not like when Gannon took over, and this is where I'll give him immense amount of credit. That roster in 2023's training camp is one of the worst I've ever seen. It's certainly the worst I've ever seen covering the Cardinals in terms of the Cardinals roster.
Yeah. Jack, Doesn't matter how long it's taken. We've landed LaFleur, ladies and gentlemen, flying out from London to the Valley for the draft. New era starts now.
That's right. Give
Come
people
to our draft party.
Jack, come to our draft party. I think I can tell folks this. There will be ticket tiers this year. So if you just straight up want to come hang out, there's a ticket, and then you can do what you want, which is hanging with Bo and I and Noah.
I think you're jumping to conclusions there, but it would be great.
I think we were told that.
Okay. Snacks. Get Jim Schwartz as DC, and we're rolling.
Anthony Weaver, Jim Schwartz. Let's see who else is in the mix. Rallis and LaFleur. That's a lot of inexperience. Dave Ragone is OC, please. Ben Cork, $5 Canadian style. Our defense was bad midseason and embarrassing at the end of the season. It was a badly regressing unit. Can't run it back. I'm the turning point I will always say, Ben, was when they had the incident with DeMercado and they had an opportunity to go in Indianapolis and put on a good defensive performance, and they were atrocious that day. And they had all their players. I mean, remember how bad they were? Couldn't cover the tight end, Ty Warren. Danny Dimes did whatever he wanted. I know that offense was playing well at the time. That told me everything. Like they had that defense at that point had checked out on the season.
Yeah. They're not running it back. You're going to see probably a couple different defensive assistants. And keep in mind, like, I think Rallis and his defense was the more consistent unit in 2024.
Oh, no doubt.
And he did a lot with less. He's got to there's a good coach in there. You just got to be able to figure out how to put in place the right process and get his game planning back on track. But I agree. The optics are tough to spend. LOL's Perez, we legit were asking to get stood up by Klint and the Raiders. I'm glad we got Mike. Hopefully we can get Jim Schwartz.
I think Weaver is much more because Anthony Weaver's not tied to any DC job right now. Right. We had reported on Friday's show with Espo that the Niners were waiting on Raheem Morris's candidacy with the Cardinals. So I think now you can turn around and like, where is Anthony Weaver being tied to?
Yeah, that
would be a home run for this team.
McVay's coordinators through the years: Matt LaFleur in 17, Shane Waldron, Kevin O'Connell, Liam Cohen, Mike LaFleur.
Did he fire Shane Waldron? Or did he like take the same job?
Maybe Waldron tried to go on to Seattle first to prove himself as a play caller.
Woof. Derek Carr could be Ranger. That would slap so hard, Ranger. Oh my God. If Derek came out of retirement, he's been juicing up the Cardinals in those interviews.
No, in his own podcast.
Yeah.
It's I've got that video. I can post it. Pretty interesting. How about this? Philly Redbird, $50. Thank you, Philly Redbird. Nick Rallis was horrible last year. Rather than hire Weaver, someone new as DC, the Cards might have set LaFleur up for failure. Now he has to scramble to fill out his staff. Hopefully LaFleur's connections prove to be valuable. I'm nervous.
Hopefully LaFleur can come in and have an immediate idea of who he wants to bring in. Jonathan Gannon, I'll never forget this, was hired on February 14th. Okay. My family and I went to Disneyland after the combine, which was like how many weeks later? I was with my daughter on Pixar Pier, and the news about Rallis broke that night. It was, I think, in March. That's how behind the eight ball they were at that time. Let me double check. Cardinals hire Nick Rallis. This was on, it was on February 18th. So I got my dates mixed up. So it was between the Super Bowl and the combine. So it was 18 days from now. Yeah. So you're still playing with house money from when Gannon got Rallis.
Yeah. How about this? Connor Hughes, who's been a reliable follow during this saga.
Yeah.
Dating back to his
he's crushed it.
Yeah, he has. And our guy Silas tagged you and I on Twitter on this. And a couple people were going back and forth. And Bubba said he was the best OC the Jets had in my life. Was he perfect? No, but he was a first-time play calling. His quarterback coach was supposed to have developed. Zach Wilson died weeks before the first training camp. Then Hughes followed up, quote tweeted, he said, he's the only offensive coordinator I covered since 2014 who ran plays that I had not seen before and that other teams copied into their playbooks. So despite the struggles with the Jets, other teams, other play callers were like, oh, I like that play. Mm-hmm. It it was like Jamison Crowder with his top receiver his first season.
Here's an earlier tweet from him. Mike LaFleur's Jets offense ranked top 5 in most statistical categories when using a quarterback that was not Zach Wilson. That argument was made to try to keep LaFleur. Ultimately, the higher-ups demanded a change. Jets offense has been a free fall ever since. LaFleur is now a head coach at 38. It's pretty good. I mean, Zach Wilson, in a league where everybody's getting second and third chances to rehabilitate their image and get jobs, Darnold and Baker and everybody else, Zach Wilson is going to be out of the league soon. He's not going to ever be a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, they used a 7th round pick in Miami instead of playing Wilson this year.
Right. I remember how good that other quarterback, Mike White came in, lit it up.
Jalen Blair, friend of the show. All other McVay disciples went and had success immediately in year 1, and they had quarterbacks already in place. A la KOC with Cousins, Rodgers, and Lawrence.
How shocked would you be if this changed everything with Kyler and he was their quarterback this year? Would you be shocked beyond belief?
I'd be surprised. I mean, shocked. I think that this whole process has been eye-opening. And I think that as far as the quarterback options this offseason, it couldn't have – I can't remember a quarterback offseason with less options. But I don't know if I think from Kyler's camp's standpoint, that's where you would get into a place where you can't go back. I'm sure he's probably like, you guys soft bench me.
Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be shocked. $5. I'm glad Monti Ossenfort made Klint Kubiak say no before hiring Milf. We should get Swartz to be our DC and wait until 2027 to draft a quarterback round 1. We are so back. Going to get a franchise tackle or a franchise edge rusher at 3rd overall. It's a good day to be a Cardinal fan. Don't get to say that a lot.
Man, and we started the day as it's a bad day, like many days to be a Cardinals fan.
Many days. Lily pads,
Pond, Kubiak saga was awful, but we got our guy.
Yes. How about this? Somebody tagged me. I retweeted it. A certain free agent running back for the New York Jets, very complimentary of Mike LaFleur.
Brees Hall?
Yeah.
Okay.
2023. Big fan. He had his best years with, I think, LaFleur. I think he's just been okay since then. Charlie's back. Happy for PHNX and Cardinal fans, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't enjoying the crash out and Johnny looming mental breakdown to start the show. Charlie, we're fellow sickos. I think I told Bo and Espo this. Like, I had been consuming Browns fan crash outs because of the Todd Monken hire as a way to supplement my own pain. I followed a lot of Browns accounts. I was trying to feed my algorithm in my feed with Browns crash outs. So I'm very familiar with that strategy.
Love that. I love that coping mechanism. That's great. Legit Media, Raiders fan here, and I came across your channel, and I enjoy hearing you guys talk ball. We'll definitely subscribe. Hope LaFleur works out for you.
Thank you. It's great to see that.
Yeah.
Raider fans, you've been through a lot. Happy for the Klint Kubiak signing for your franchise, and Mendoza is a flipping gem. I'm jealous that he is not coming here, but Raider fans have been through a lot.
Close, but so far away at 3.
Yeah.
Trinity, it's Reese Bain season. Now both will be game changers.
I mean, I think there's a certain tackle from Miami who might have something to say about it, but if I could have any player right now, if you put me on the spot and said, Johnny, outside of Mendoza, who would you take? I would take Ruben Bain right now to be an Arizona Cardinal. So we'll see.
I think the measurements are going to be kind to him, but look at the film, look at the production, stuff to deny.
Will Anderson didn't have great measurements that combine we were at. There were people who were like, he's going to fall.
It's weird. It's like the same. It's like a carbon copy off season. And Monty's like, are you going to do the same thing? I don't think that there's no quarterback to help rally that like there was with CJ Stroud to get.
Right. They're also picking a pick higher too. They're not picking 4th.
Keeping it going. Connor, thank God this nightmare is finally over.
I know. It was a nightmare. The hardest night for me to sleep was that night where Salah spurned them.
Yeah.
And then the Arthur Smith night was tough. That was really tough. Vance Joseph's performance in the AFC Championship game, that was tough. And it was also tough rallying on like Thursday with you after LaFleur had not been hired.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what are they doing? There was some dark times, Connor, for sure.
God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. Chief Skull, a couple of these.
Dude,
$4.99.
Strongest podcast hosts.
$1.99. Punch Perfect Boxing. Thanks for the top coverage as always, gents. Thank you. Always appreciate Punch Perfect Boxing chiming in. How about Special K? So what's the plan for quarterback? I feel like Kyler still gives you the best chance to win this year. I like the idea of trading back up for Simpson in the late first. Are we tanking for 2027?
No, we are not tanking. We're here to win games. I have no idea what the plan is at quarterback. I just feel pretty confident it's not going to be Kyler Murray. Mike LaFleur loves one of these QBs. Let him pick him. Figure it out a way. Outside of the third overall pick, the rest of those picks, like, Bo, you're going to think I'm nuts. If he loves Nussmeier, and Nussmeier is this day 2 pick, and they want to trade up at the back of the first and get Nussmeier, like, that's not going to bother me. Like, if Mike LaFleur is picking the next quarterback, if Mike LaFleur likes him, then I like him.
Even if it's Nussmeier? B-Money, is there a chance that he returns to the Rams?
I'm guessing he means Mike LaFleur. No, he's a Cardinal now. He made a statement with the team. But I like where you're...
He answers that. Disregard my earlier question. I was just nervous.
I like the nervousness, though, because it's like, could he still go back? Could he still go back? No, he signed on. Desert Vulture, $5. Looking forward to unlocking this offense and team. Let's go. 100%. It's great. It's going to be great to not watch garbage time football and let Michael Wilson be a true number one for a head coach that can make the most out of him.
Tommy Caprisi, wouldn't LaFleur come here to call plays? Why wouldn't he come here to call plays?
Bo, why wouldn't he?
I think obviously because he hasn't called plays the last 3 years, but we've seen with other coordinators that leave LA that hasn't been an issue with Cohen and KOC. So I just thought, as a young head coach, he might want to set his focuses more on, getting the staff in place and then just delegating to those guys. But look, I'm not like strongly opposed to it.
It's a lot to do. It is.
Richard Gannon wouldn't do it. Richard,
he should have, though. Who would fire Larry Fitzgerald as wide receiver coach? I think Larry would need him. I wouldn't want to make Larry a coach. Larry would need a more prominent role. Larry could Larry come in and be a team president? Could Kurt Warner come in and be a team president? Yeah. You need to find a Larry and Anquan, a Kurt to come in and be your face of your franchise so that Michael Bidwill has a chance to take a breath and not be so vulnerable to criticism. He brings it on himself. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but like create a role. And it's not like that's out of the ordinary. Most teams do it. How many teams don't do it, Bo? Like a handful?
Yeah. I think Theo Mackey did a good write-up on it. And it's there in the Arizona Republic. It's a great article about it, going against, success of teams that don't have a team president versus the ones that do have it. It's just it's pretty eye-opening.
Yeah.
Larry loves to play golf too, and a coach's life is not one for Fitz. How about Jenga Man? Wild how JG and Monti nuked their perception in year one. No doubt about it. It's a crazy fall from grace. Also, Larry's son is he's in college. He's going to start playing at Notre Dame. He's probably going to want to get out and go to those games.
I just don't want like franchise legends to be in a position where like they could get fired from the franchise.
Right.
Like coaches. Like John Elway was their team president. They won a Super Bowl and then he was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Baxter.
Things got rough, right?
Right. And then he had to step down. We need a highlight reel of the search, just JV F-bomb in the opening scene. Yeah, I let one F-bomb slip Thursday with Bo. I thought it was appropriate.
Potty mouth. How about Jack? Bookmark a few Albright tweets for this moment.
We love Ben. We still support Ben. We hope to have Ben on maybe this offseason. But Ben had a tough go with this team this offseason. Had he not gone so hard in the paint for Vance, it would have been fine.
Or hard in the paint that Gannon was going to keep his job. It's
hard in the paint that LaFleur or the Rams guys wouldn't take the job too. There were a couple.
That's a big win overall because he wasn't the only person saying that. It's a big win.
Yeah. Chief, $4.99. Bidwill is too busy doing what NFL Corporation wants him to do. He's a good soldier. I think there's people who believe that. that he puts on a good show at the Super Bowl, and that, you know, I mean, he doesn't embarrass the rest of the league, but he doesn't win. And the only people that impacts are the fan base of the Cardinals. Like, if you asked a Tennessee Titan fan or a Vikings fan, what do you think of Michael Bidwill? They probably wouldn't have an opinion. But because it's impacting this team's ability to string success together. So, but he and Roger Goodell reportedly are very, very close.
Keeping it going. How about Aaron Wilson has gifted one PHNX Sports Supporter membership? Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that.
Oh, let's go. Game Geek, $54562. Now we have a head coach. What happens to K1? Do you think they trade him or cut him?
I mean, the way that the quarterback market has not materialized, it bodes well for the Cardinals in finding a trade suitor partner for him.
Do you think when Mike LaFleur is asked about Kyler next week, do you think he'll be positive?
Yes. It's the only route. I mean, we've made it this far. How about new supporter, Mike LaFleur? Welcome, Coach.
Welcome. I'm sure you're busy, but for you to take time out of your schedule for us, it means a lot.
That was, I think, priority number one for him. Got in the gates as a supporter. Well, let's see. They made me wait for no reason. Excited to be a part of the community. I'll follow Jordan Ott and succeeding in the Valley as the first-time head coach.
It has been sensational. Oh my God, the Suns have not been a consumable product for like 3 years, and now they're everything you wanted them to be.
Monti Ossenfort.
Get Kevin Durant out, and good things happen. That guy stunk.
As an Ohio State fan, love Monty. Cards fan, not much.
You think that he'll have a bias toward Reese during this draft process? That's a concern for me.
Is that Billy Price? Is his profile pick?
Maybe.
Aaron Wilson.
Yeah. $2. The FA button needed a rest. we can put a piece of tape over it now for Noah. Grinson 480-199. What do you guys think about K1 now that Mike is his head coach? I think Kyler Murray will not play for Mike LaFleur. That is my official take on this.
If I were to analyze it as if he were to coach him, I would like to fit, but doesn't.
Agreed. Yeah, I put me in that same camp. Shaft, $10, Bo. I've had a faith in Monty all along, but honestly starting to get nervous. Now our focus should be on Raheem Morris. Damn, I'm happy today. Hope the Cardinal Nation is as happy as I am. I think Cardinal fans universally approve of the move, Shaft.
Yeah, not long after LaFleur news to the Cardinals was Raheem Morris to the 49ers as their next defensive coordinator. Something we thought would be a good fit, but Shanahan and his NFC West team that was still really damn good this year, unfortunately, despite all the injuries. Raheem Morris gets to take over that unit for Robert Saleh. Shaft's back.
No offense to Raheem, who I would love here. That's still a downgrade for them. I mean, I like Raheem. He's not Robert Saleh.
Right. Shaft, I happen to be watching the 08 Super Bowl rerun. Karma?
Good karma. No doubt about it. Nick, $4.99. I'm pumped about it. LaFleur, we take in the West. I mean, it's a long way to go, but I think you can have optimism now. When's the last time this fan base has had optimism? Probably the day they parted ways with Gannon, and that was a fleeting feeling.
And before that, it was the season opener. Before the season opener.
Yep.
Skinny Ass Pedro is a new supporter. Welcome, Skinny Ass Pedro. Way to keep your ass skinny. How about Jace jumping in with a super chat? Jace, hey, let's call Larry Fitz and ask him to be our wide receivers coach. We need a legend to come on the staff.
I think they'll get enough from the current staff, but Larry
Shaft is back. Yeah. Who's our focus as DC now that Morris is gone?
TBD. If you ask me who I think the favorite is, it's Nick Rollis until they are linked to another candidate.
Yeah.
I think just kind of by default. Why? But, well, I mean, if they keep Nick Rollis, wouldn't that decision kind of be imminent? Probably next week they announce that.
If there's no news before the press conference, then it's just a question you ask Mike LaFleur, right? And you say, is Nick Rollis going to stay on as DC? Because otherwise, I mean, if they're just keeping him, I don't know if they would make the announcement unless they just announce his staff. MKLZ, PHNX, MILF, MILF Hunter, Swag, Win. Thanks for making life as a Cardinals fan little less gleefully nihilistic. Greetings from the frozen tundra of Toronto, Canada. Almost 30 right now. Just brutal. Minus 30. My God.
There are Cardinal fans everywhere. They just need something to cheer about, and today's a good day for them. So stay cool or stay warm, I guess, Mike, and come visit us in Phoenix when you get a chance. Hope all is well. Alberto, remember for 4 months, LaFleur episode, A New Hope. That's right. It's like Luke Skywalker looking at the twin suns on Tatooine, and now he needs to go find the rest of his crew. He needs to go find his Han Solo and his Chewbacca and his Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Coach LaFleur's back. I had Jimmy G at both San Francisco and LA. He's a free agent. So
how old is Jimmy Garoppolo? I thought his arm was toast.
34.
He's only 34. Here, all right, Jimmy Garoppolo, for some statistics and gigs here, has not started more than 11 games since 2022. 7 games, 1 game, 3 games.
Was he a tremendous failure as starter for the Raiders?
Yeah, 7 touchdowns, 9 picks. He can't be. I think Jacoby Brissett is better than Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's more. Jimmy Garoppolo, not only is he old and brittle, like he missed so much time. Like, go find the next Jimmy G.
King Dirtbag. The sun shines on a dog ass someday. Some days.
Right.
Yeah.
Well said.
Beautiful.
Poetic even.
What poem is that from? Mark Heffley. Are you guys more excited about this hire than the Gannon hire? Thanks for the show.
I think we were more desperate this time around. Not that this is a desperate hire. Never during the Gannon hire did it feel like they were going to go anywhere but like a Gannon or somebody like that. Like Lou Anarumo wouldn't have been terrible. I mean, in hindsight, it would have. But like people really like Lou Anarumo. He's the DC for a Super Bowl defense. I never believed they were going to hire Kafka. This was a different level of desperation and darkness for this fan base. So I would say I'm more excited about this just because it looked much darker during this period of time.
And like Gannon, the alternatives weren't appealing to us as a show. So there's some similarities, but also there was more unknown with Gannon, I feel like. Keeping it going, Fleets. So what's the move at pick 3?
You tell us, Bo. I gave my prediction.
Yeah, I like Ruben Bain. If you're looking to maybe play into the strength of LaFleur, then yeah, maybe you go with Mauaga from Miami, or we've seen Fanu make his way back up the board in a couple NFL.com drafts from Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. But if you're looking for production, if you're looking for a guy that's just produced at a high level, Ruben Bain is your guy.
He is.
And not having to force a position change like with Reese, who's played off ball most of the time at Ohio State. Schaff, yeah, there's some bad history here as far as that goes. AFC West are old head coaches, and NFC West is young studs.
They're going to have to overcome some significant purging of elite coordinators, as they should. Shanahan's lost his DC. McDonald lost his OC. McVay's going to be fine, but another year for Stafford. The biggest shoe to fall is eventually when Stafford retires. Is McVay going to go do TV for a little while? But McDonald last year without Kubiak was beatable. So let's see. Let's see.
Jace, for quarterback, focused on offensive line in 2026, get a franchise quarterback in 27. I'd take Cousins with a ton of offensive protection up for a year. He has talent, just no legs.
He just was not healed that first year with Atlanta coming off that injury. And people said he looked way better at the end of last year. I mean, there are worse options for me. He's a great teammate. And if he's a placeholder, like you bring him and Jacoby in, just like everybody knows what this is. You get a tackle in free agency or 3rd overall. You have the weapons. You have personnel on both sides. I think, listen, there are going to be people who are like, you got rid of Kyler for Kirk Cousins, and I get the optics of that. But you're also hopefully setting yourself up to get a quarterback in 2027. There's just not enough options this draft.
Right. Schaff, I trust that Mike LaFleur has a guy in mind for DC.
You would think so. You would think so. But I bet he wants to keep Nick on staff in some way, shape, or form. So we'll see.
How about Charlie Sinclair is back? What would ASAP Sports Johnny and Debo think about the current state of the franchise? This coaching search need to get a freaking review.
I don't know what ASAP Sports is. What is that?
I don't know, but I know what a freaking review is.
We appreciate the support, Charlie. Steven Jackson, $4.99.
Searching my history. Steven Jackson. Yeah, go ahead.
Just woke up from a nap. Best news I've heard in a long time. We're so back. I mean, I was shocked when Bo read it on there.
Yeah. Well,
didn't you kind of feel like they were going to wait and like kind of let the dust settle and be like, all right, well, we're doing this now?
No, I think there was probably overwhelming pressure from the NFL. And where else do you turn?
And then now we've got Jonathan Castro, $1.99. Will Milf call plays? Who do you guys want as OC? Is there any other names that you would think to connect other than Ragone? Doesn't Ragone feel like the most obvious choice?
Yeah, he does. It seems like more of a struggle to try to get Shieldhaas away from the organization.
That's not happening.
Yeah, Ragone seems more.
Ragone, he's 48, so he's got experience. He's got experience calling plays. He wants to be a coordinator again. He somehow hasn't been interviewed or taken another job. He was supposed to go with Shieldhaas when he was going to go to the Browns.
Yeah.
So I think
Did the Jets ever hire Reich?
Not yet. But let me see where Dave Ragone has been linked to. Handful of names with connections to McVay to monitor for the OC gig. So this is a guy, Dave Ragone, Shieldhaas, no. So I guess Ragone, if Ragone gets passed up for Shieldhaas, you would think it would make sense. Let me see here.
I'm going to get to this next super chat.
Go ahead.
You sleuth. There's also some sleuthing going on from Connor. Mike White retweeted the announcement. QB1, LOL.
Does Mike White want to get into coaching? I'd be like, hey, Mike White, you want to come coach? Dave Ragone was most notably tied to the Browns job, which is not happening.
Yeah.
I think Cardinals would love that fit.
Tank for Manning. No Antarctica. LFG.
That's right. We would have had to move there.
Was that Friday thing?
I think so. It's all blur now. I'm having trouble staying coherent, but I'm back.
Our good friend of the show, Terry Cleary. Great news and always, you fellas rock.
Thank you so much, T. Cleary. We're celebrating today. It's been a banner month for this little fanboy pod, but most days have been dark, full of terror.
Great way to start February. Skinny ass Pregro. JV's ready for the Tip Ryman in this offense.
How quickly can we get him in Detroit? How quickly can we swindle the Lions for? I mean, like, hey, Detroit, you guys want? This is Drew's favorite player. We're open to a deal.
Hey, there's still. I mean,
they like
more credit. He's the one that introduced 13-12 personnel to that Rams offense. They actually knew how to utilize it, though. G. Watt, would Breece Hall be interested in a reunion?
Money talks. If the Cardinals told Breece, like, hey, you're going to come here and be our bell cow, we're going to pay you the most, he would 100% sign with them. That's the play. With all due respect to Trey Benson, who I don't think is more than just a guy, and then, of course, James Conner approaching the end of his career, you get Breece Hall here, and it's like, hey, we'll give you a bloated 3-year deal. Let's go. Bunch of guarantees.
Yeah. Hey, great news. Just saw this. Our guy, Alex D'Agostino, putting up his breakdown. Go PHNX.com about the hire Mike LaFleur to the Cardinals. So check that out right now.
Go read it. Go read that. We love Alex here at PHNX Sports. AZ Moses, $4.99. I was away from my phone, spending time with my daughter. So, of course, that's when officially we hire Mike LaFleur, LMFAO, about damn time. It's great. We can see our families again.
Yep. Fleets, Breece, and AVT are both free agents and coached by Mike. Yeah.
AVT gets hurt a lot, but
he's a great guard option, man. He would.
He's a great player when he's healthy. And I think the Cardinals liked him pre-draft. Dusty Cooks, $20. Very generous, Dusty. Appreciate that. Hell yes. Great news. Let's go. Can't wait to find out where the Bird Gang is traveling to next year. And, we'll be partnering hopefully with our friends at Bird Gang Travel again.
Fourth place schedule. I know the NFL wants to up its international game. Who knows? Anything is possible. Cardinals have a head coach. They hired somebody. Bees, Jobo, grateful for what you do. Best in the game.
We appreciate that. Not to toot our own horn, but I put out a tweet in the midst of just being irate about the optics of the Kubiak thing, is just be careful, not to lecture people, just be careful who you consume and why they choose to push things that they choose to push, and why, and if they're either naive and just not locked in. I mean, Bo and I do this every day, or if they're purposely trying to get you to believe something that is not true.
Maybe they lost a little bit of their fastball. Who knows?
Yeah.
Bees, Mike LaFleur is here. NFC West Demon is home.
It's just great. Now the other divisions can look at you and say, well, they got somebody from within. We know what Mike's about. And listen, his brother, by the way, is going to want to see him do well.
Yeah.
So I know that's not everything, but there are ties there. It's like,
if he really loves him, give us Jordan Love.
Well, it's just like, well, no, I'm being serious though. But it's just like, they don't need a competitive advantage against the Cardinals. They don't play each other. It's like Matt and Mike, I'm sure, will talk a lot, and he's got the best resource to be able to go to and be like, how do I handle this situation?
Mm-hmm.
That's not nothing.
Sure. Keeping it going. How about is North Dakota State Cole Payton in the draft as our quarterback? Thoughts?
Maybe on day 3. Maybe day 3. How about this, Bo? Do you think they'll draft a quarterback? I think they will, but maybe not as early as we would have assumed.
It's 2023 again. You got to get back to it. Took a flyer in the 5th round on Clayton Tune, didn't materialize anything. Maybe Peyton. I mean, we just haven't seen North Dakota State produce. It hasn't translated, really. I mean, outside of a run from Carson Wentz, like you just have Trey Lance wasn't anything. Like Easton Stick is a career backup. Like there just hasn't been any kind of that's a below FBS option for quarterbacks. Gabriel, Johnny, been watching from the UK since you did Periscope Lives. Oh, what a throwback. And the Revenge of the Birds pod. Rise up, Red Sea.
Thank you, Gabriel, for the super chat. Appreciate you. Periscope Live was where it was at.
Man, I wish we could find some old Periscope Lives of Johnny.
I'm not going to say I was ahead of my time, but before Bo and I started this little shindig, like, you can tell who really wants to do this or not, who's going to put themselves out there and rip it live. It's one thing to be overproduced and polished, but and to put up a video after you spent 2 hours, putting it together. Mm-hmm. It's like they're, going live. It's where people want to be, and I wanted to be with the people.
Wow, are you saying you don't need Noah? That's really hurtful.
Yeah, get out, Noah. Can't wait to park at your hotel or apartment tomorrow and get Uber together to the airport.
Ooh, teamwork. Richard bought my daughter a Kyler Murray jersey thinking it was going to be cheap because he wasn't going to be here, and it wasn't.
Ooh, we have multiple Kyler Murray jerseys in this household. I'm going to choose to remember the good times with K1. That'll be a sad day when they trade him.
Sad day, bad day. Dave, keep Jacoby, snag Zach Wilson in free agency.
No.
F it, draft Beck in the 2nd or 3rd. Boom, Super Bowls.
We're not trying to get Mike hired now or fired now. Keep Zach. I would say Mike would not want anything to do with Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Shaft's back. What about if Mike offered the OC to Nate Scheelhaas and considered trading Kyler to Cleveland for Schwartz? He's a good defense coordinator. Thoughts?
I think they're going to roll with the quarterbacks they have. They can't afford any more quarterbacks. They've got Deshaun's contract, and then they're obviously going to roll with, Shador. Scheelhaas is going to be the OC with the Rams. And if you're Dave Ragone, come be an OC with us. Hello.
Yeah. How about just user Russell Wilson, unrestricted free agent 1 year?
He's toast. His arm's cooked. Cousins at least showed you play at the end of the year and won some games.
Win football games, right?
Yeah. I mean, Russ is, I think, might be out of the league.
He remember, let Russ cook. Now Russ is cooked.
Yeah.
Playoff book. Opinions on Willis as a bridge year. Looks solid. Thank you for the best Cards coverage. Sending love from Michigan. Can't wait for my AZ trip in April.
Let's go. Playoff book. Hit us up if it's during the draft party.
Noah's a Michigan brother.
Malik Willis will have many suitors. Are the Cardinals going to be number one? I don't know. Malik Willis to me just might have a little too much Kevin Cobb vibes to me. He just has not played enough.
But there's no draft capital tied to
that's true.
Like Cobb.
I'd be worried to commit too many guarantees. Yeah. If it was enough where it was truly like you're front loading it and then next year you can get out of it, no issue with it. I like Kirk Cousins. I'm going to be in the minority.
If it's because I don't think it's going to be an intense bidding war. Like I think he's going to get more than people anticipated. But like when you look at Pittsburgh, when you look at Miami, the quarterback needy teams, like Miami's going to be settled with Tua's contract. Cardinals might be able to make like the best offer without going too intense in a bidding war for a guy like Malik Willis.
Rank these candidates: Geno, Tua, Kirk Cousins, Malik Willis, 1 through 4.
You could probably just flip it, right? The way you just broke it down, I would say Malik, Kirk Cousins, and then who are the other two? Like
Geno and Tua.
Yeah, probably put Tua, Russ, Geno. No, Geno, flip Geno and Russ.
That's a future show. Just ranking all the terrible quarterback options. Hannibal, thanks for the birthday wishes, lads, and finally hope. That's right. Fresh set of hope. And I hope people, I honestly believe this, that we're considering canceling their season tickets, keep them and support this team. And I think it's important to support Mike LaFleur in his first year. So we said the same thing about Gannon. Gannon was winning games at home and they couldn't get people to go to the games locally. And they finally had that start and turn their way. And then the Casitas came and the losses came this year.
Yeah.
It's time to rebuild the trust.
How about Dusty Cooks? Great username. Great name if that's your name. All the best head coaches now call plays. MLF needs to call plays.
I've been for it. I don't have an issue with it. Let's go. Let's see what he can do.
Desert Fowl, great new supporter. I've seen a lot of you jump on board. Excited to have everybody a part of this community. Are users back? Russell Wilson. No, we already got that one. Asking again. Russell Wilson, restricted free agent. Brian P. Been reading super chats for over an hour. Love it.
And you know what? Thankfully, we appreciate the ones pre the announcement, but I thought there'd probably be more pre-announcement. So I'm glad we got the announcement 9 minutes into the show, so people could redirect their support to Mike, because I know people are excited about this move.
Coach Mike LaFleur, and I was thinking about this as well. Aubrey Pleasant, who's like the defensive passing game coordinator for the Rams, would be his pick for DC. It's a name that's gotten some traction this offseason.
So he was a former player. I think he was a safety in the NFL. He's actually from Flint, Michigan, Noah. Here's his history. He's never been a defensive coordinator, and he's done a little bit on the offensive side, but for the last 3 years, he's the defensive backs and passing game coordinator, and then he became the assistant head coach and passing game coordinator. So, I mean, is he an offensive coach or a defensive coach? He's a little bit of both. Might be a little bit of a reach for me. I
an upgrade over Nick Rawlis
with
some would say yes, but there's don't discount some experience. Don't discount what Nick was able to do.
Don't you think right now you just got to keep Anthony Weaver's name on speed dial like that? Sure. Doesn't that feel like if they're going to get one of the marquee names, like that's going to be the?
Yeah,
I mean, he's not staying in Miami.
Yeah, Chaz laughed at Duval, and look what he did.
That's right. Yeah. That guy he was good from the start. That Jaguar team never had a lull this year.
Arizona Cardinals, MILF head coach next 20 years, LFG.
Good deal. That's right. I would just love to see a coach finally succeed here post Bruce Arians. And I'm going to tell you right now, we've said it before. Last 3 coaches to make the playoffs for this team have all been on the offensive side.
How about this? Interesting. Desert Fowl. How about Thomas Brown for OC? Yeah. Patriots passing game coordinator.
Wouldn't hate it, but would he want to call plays? Wouldn't hate it. Former player. Got good options now. When you get the right head coach, you suddenly have good options for everything else.
Bees. LaFleur gives off Ott vibes. Parallels are there.
I'm excited for his press conference. I'm bummed won't be able to attend, given we'll be out of town. But any chance the Cardinals wait?
Yet. Nothing's there yet. What's up?
Any chance the Cardinals wait till after the Super Bowl?
Possible. It's possible, but probably not. Schaff would love to sign Breece Hall.
Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yeah, Elijah Vera Tucker. Moaga or Fano. And then an edge. Isidore, RM Thomas in the second. Maybe Chambliss, Nussmeier in the third. Just spitballing some options there.
They don't have a lot of needs. They need a quarterback, and then there's a couple. I mean, I don't think they're desperate for an edge rusher, but you would take the best edge rusher if they're available.
Yeah.
Like Sweat had 12 sacks. You've got Jordan Burch. You got some people under contract you like. Are they desperate for a right tackle? Yes, but you can get one in free agency. They got corners. They got linebackers. They got defensive linemen. There are just a couple positions that need addressing. Rangers back $10. How about Gardner Minshew? He is one in this league. They thought he tore his Achilles, but then it came out that he didn't tear his Achilles.
Right.
That's
the contract with the Chiefs, or is he a free agent?
He is back at full health, according to NBC Sports, as he nears free agency.
Okay.
So, that again, those are the kind of options you're going to be looking at. He's 6'1". He's won in this league. He's almost 30 years old. He's the last time he started 17 games or played 17 games was that year with Indy. Remember that? Yeah. Then he went to a bad Raider team, and then he last year.
Gardner better than Jacoby Brissett?
I would say yes. I think he's won more.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think
he went 7-6 with Indy.
Yeah, the AFC South was brutal that year too.
Yeah, I
don't know. I'm not
he's in the camp of the Kirk Cousins. Like you're playing the same sandbox.
I think he's just with Jacoby, where he's just a fringe starter, firmly a backup.
Okay.
Nobody has a pulse of the fan base like Joe Bo do.
Sometimes it's just paying attention. We appreciate that, Bees. And there's a lot of people who clock in and clock out, and that's why their takes are so outlandish and seem off base, because they're not paying attention.
Right.
I mean, it's like who does their homework? Who lives this every day? You can tell who doesn't. And my only continue to ask is just don't give those kind of people your time of day if they don't care about what they're putting on display for you to consume.
That's right. It's about you, the consumer, the community. You deserve the best insight and reporting. Bees gifting us PHNX Sports Supporter membership. Thank you, Bees.
How about this? Thank you, Bees. T. Cleary. Love the return to positivity. Let's move forward. Yep. Positive Jobo is back. That's right. Perfect way to segue into our last topic of discussion here. You want to do coordinator predictions now?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, I don't think we're going to be able to give you anything definitive or anything that is going to make it, that's going to sustain the test of time here. Probably become irrelevant pretty soon, as this thing is kind of
I think we just do it. We do it for fun.
Yeah.
Real quick, Plex is asking, isn't it malpractice to set your team back at quarterback? I think they wouldn't view it like that from a financial standpoint. I think they're looking at the finances of this. They cut DeAndre Hopkins, even though he would have been their best receiver in 2023.
Yeah. They one thing they're not afraid to do is do the unpopular move.
That's true. So true. All right. I will go first.
Okay.
I predict that Mike LaFleur will call his own plays.
Okay.
Meaning that the offensive coordinator will be an under-the-radar hire, whether it's a receiver coach or a quarterback coach. It could still be Ragone.
Yeah.
But then I'm gonna flip it and say I predict that the team gets a notable defensive coordinator who is above the age of 45 to come in and take control of this defense. And then where does that leave Nick Rawls? I think if he doesn't get a DC job, it leaves him as the linebacker coach for the Green Bay Packers. Okay. So that is my prediction: is Mike LaFleur will call plays like the rest of these guys, Liam Coleman, et cetera, and his brother, because he's seen it done. And then on the flip side, I think that they will get I'll just do a prediction here. Anthony Weaver's the next DC of this team. I'll predict that.
I love that. I'd like to piggyback that a little bit, but like you kind of follow the current blueprint. What Cohen did down in Jacksonville, and he was the main play caller, and then Udinski, obviously the young kind of prodigy.
Yeah,
you wouldn't mind seeing something like that, or you could go the veteran route. But I think that all is kind of going to be contingent on who you get on the defensive side. Can you get some, public opinion, a little bit of wiggle room to go on a youth side of things. So I love the Weaver thing. I know people are saying Schwartz, but that's probably a situation you don't want to get mixed up in with the Browns. Don't get pulled into the Browns vortex. Just move forward. And there's plenty of available candidates out there. So Weaver is one of the guys that stand out. Let's look at our upside coach tracker real quick before we get out of here. One last time.
Let's
pour
thank
one
you
out.
to Upside for hanging with us on this obscene interview tracker.
But like there's some ties, like Weaver and Brown are two guys, and then probably stay away from Nagy. No, he hasn't landed. And then like Rivera only in a consultant situation who have had ties to this job.
Yeah. Thomas Brown would be great. I think I would still want Mike to call plays if Thomas Brown became your OC.
Yeah.
Weaver obviously is the gem on this list. You know, could you pluck somebody from Chris Shula's staff? I just feel like not enough experience. And if you're going to go in experience, you're probably just going to stick with the incumbent in Nick Rallis, but that remains to be seen. But we are putting to bed the coaching tracker from Upside, and maybe we rebranded as the coordinator. The coordinator tracker. Man, what 27 days of this? I would say it's gone by quick. It has not. It has not.
I think it was gonna hit like it has, but I'm gonna miss it.
Big shout out to
the friends we made along the way.
I've lost friends during this coaching search. Big shout out to Bo, who rallied today after being deathly ill on Friday. Big shout out to Noah, who's given up so much of his time this weekend, prepping everything for this emergency pod that did happen. And big thank you to all 15,000+ that have watched for 2+ hours.
Wow.
We couldn't do this without you. My only ask is like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button as we continue our march toward 50K. And this is a huge week for this little fanboy pod. We're going to make it our best Super Bowl ever. We're going to have all the biggest names in football and media on this show, on this little fanboy podcast, including our reunion with Kurt Warner to talk about Mike LaFleur, the connections, the ties. So if you're thinking who's going to have the insight, the skinny on some of these coordinators, we're going to be amongst those, the best the NFL has to offer. So please just hit that subscribe button, as Shaft is saying. We are back.
Absolutely. We will talk to you with a fresh episode tomorrow right here, PHNX Sports. Like this video. We'll talk to you then.
We all silly like the mayor.